Africa. Samina mina, waka waka, samina mina sakalegwa, anawa samina mina, waka waka, samina mina sakalegwa. This time for Africa. Samina mina, waka waka, samina mina sakalegwa, anawa samina mina, waka waka, samina mina sakalegwa. This time for Africa.
I'm well on my journey, biggie, biggie mama, one A to Z. My sister's all on my journey, biggie, biggie mama, from east to west. My tea, waka, waka, my waka, waka, my Song this is so massive, yeah. 'Cause this is Africa.
Samina mina, anawa samina mina, samina mina, anawa
Samina mina, waka waka, samina mina sakalegwa, anawa samina mina, waka waka, samina mina sakalegwa. This time for Africa. Samina mina, waka waka, samina mina sakalegwa, anawa samina mina, waka waka, samina mina sakalegwa. This time for Africa. Tango, tango, samina mina sakalegwa, anawa 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 samina mina, waka waka, samina mina.
It is 1400 Central African Time. What would a Saturday afternoon be without Africa at Play? Incomplete indeed. We are happy to be here. We are together until 5 p.m. Central African Time. My name is Neto Neto Chemane. Hosiati konyagazi mumkajwa phandle konjani moyani vuguvugu dendele. We are live on DSTV Audio Bouquet channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are in South Africa. Alternatively, you can connect with us from anywhere in the world on channelafrica.co.za. Also available at your fingertips on SABC Plus. Coming up on Africa at Play, running a professional football club comes with a heavy price tag in terms of weekly operations such as traveling to and from various venues in domestic leagues, and even more costly for teams participating in continental tournaments, accommodation and meals while on camp. Top leagues in Africa like the South African Premier Soccer League subsidizes teams to ease off their financial pressure. Why can't principals of football in Africa ease off the pressure by subsidizing clubs on a monthly basis? So what are your thoughts? You can drop us a WhatsApp voice note on the number +27 63 406 9126. Our Zambian correspondent Namuchana Likezo spoke with sports analyst Isaac Chipatanga on our topic of the day.
Well, the issue of giving subsidies from the Football Association to teams that compete in domestic leagues across the African continent is a very difficult one to tackle. Remember that football associations themselves are cash-strapped across the African continent. Many of them survive basically because, the government through the Ministry of Sports supports the senior national team and other national teams, depending on which country you're coming from. And of course, a little bit of a grant that comes in from FIFA on an annual basis. And for me, that is a serious concern, because it means that football associations are not doing enough to brand themselves in the market space to attract enough sponsorship. And that for me, I think, is a major concern that many of the football associations across the African continent are grappling with at the moment.
Laura Wolfert and Tasman Brits produced a commanding betting display as the Proteas women secured a dominant 10-wicket victory over Sri Lanka via the Duckworth Lewis Stern DLS method in the rain-interrupted ICC Women's Cricket World Cup 2025 encounter in Colombo yesterday. Here is Laura Wolfert on the results.
Big relief. I think especially after that 5-hour break, I think we looked a bit nervy when we came back on the field, a couple of missed fields. So I think we did a great job of sort of regrouping mid-innings and getting those wickets near the end. But yeah, like you said, especially after our last game against the subcontinent side where we found ourselves in a bit of trouble, it was nice to have a convincing win against a similar sort of side. Obviously it hasn't been the best tournament for me overall, so very nice to hit a few. Obviously a reduced game, so I just sort of thought normal T20 plans. So Taz and I just went out as if it was a normal T20 and both got off to decent starts and just kept going. So.
Despite the controversy surrounding Netball South Africa, NSA President Cecilia Molokwane, the Federation's elections to select a new board will proceed as scheduled on the 25th of October. NSA is currently facing turbulent times following unsettling reports involving both CEO Neto Chemane and Molokwane. Speaking to SABC Sport, NSA Acting President Mamediale confirmed that the elections will continue as planned, stressing that only the Council has the authority to postpone or cancel.
The elections, as Netball South Africa, we follow the process and procedure. We have a constitution that is guiding us. So acting outside the constitution, it's quite, a challenge for us. But at the end of the day, council, it's a decision. That's where we make decision. That's where we take a resolution. So for elections at this moment, the process of elections is continue until we call an SGM as Netball South Africa to give members a platform to, discuss on this issue of the postponement of election or for us to continue with elections. Council will take that decision.
14:05 Central African Time. Do make time to visit our Channel Africa website and you click on programs and search for Africa at Play. At the bottom right screen of Africa at Play, you can click on more to access those conversations that you might have missed out on. Do get in touch with us on our different social media platforms on Instagram and X at Channel Africa 1 and on Facebook, the name of our station, Channel Africa. Let's update you about football action, matches that took place in the FIFA World Cup African qualifiers that closed the curtain, which was match day 10 of 10. Zambia played against Niger and losing that match by a goal to nil. Chad lost to Central African Republic by 2-3, while Djibouti went down by 2-1 against Sierra Leone. Mali triumphed 4-1 against Madagascar, while Ghana beat Comoros by a narrow 1-0 win, and Egypt beat Guinea-Bissau also by the same margin 1-0. Burkina Faso had a good day on the pitch, beating Ethiopia, the East Africans, by 3-1. Tunisia managed to beat Namibia by 3-0, while South Sudan and Togo played to a 0-all draw. Another 1-all draw was Equatorial Guinea and Liberia, while Sao Tome and Principe beat Malawi the Flames by a 0-0. Mauritius played to a 0-all draw against Libya. Cameroon failed to score against Angola, and that match ended in a 0-all draw. Cape Verde, a good day on the pitch, beating Eswatini Slango Semnikati by 3-0, and Cape Verde surprised a lot of football people on the African continent by booking a spot to their first ever FIFA World Cup. They will be heading to the US, Mexico and Canada in 2026. Lesotho managed to beat Zimbabwe by a 0-0. and Seychelles went down by 7-0 in a one-way traffic match. Gambia beating Seychelles in that match. Mozambique beat Somalia by 1-0, while Algeria beat Uganda by 2-1. Algeria, another African giant that is heading to the FIFA World Cup in 2026. South Africa's Bafana beat Rwanda by 3-0, a much-needed victory for Bafana to book a ticket to the FIFA World Cup after Nigeria beat Benin by 4-0. Nigeria finished on 17 points together with Benin with a superior goal difference, which means Nigeria will be part of the top 4 second best finishers, and they will play in a top 4 tournament. We will update you about those fixtures in just a moment. Guinea and Botswana played to a 2-2 draw, while Ivory Coast, the Elephants, had a good day against the Kenyans. East Africans, Harambee Stars, beating them by 3-0. Gabon beat Burundi by 2-0, and Gabon is also part of the 4 nations that will battle it out for that final spot for the FIFA World Cup happening in 2026. DR Congo beat Sudan by 1-0, while Morocco, the Atlas Lions, also triumphed by 1-0 against Congo Brazzaville. Senegal, the Teranga Lions, beat Mauritania by 4-0, and Senegal has also booked their special ticket to the FIFA World Cup 2026. On the 13th of November, a special tournament, a top 4 tournament, will take place in Morocco, where Nigeria will take on Gabon in the first semi-final, and Cameroon, the Indomitable Lions, will take on DR Congo in the second semi-final, and the winners of those matches will meet on the final match on the 16th of November, which is also taking place in Morocco. Let's now update you about action in the Premier League as we just came out of the FIFA break. Now different leagues have resumed to play. Match day 8 of 38, Nottingham Forest is up against Chelsea. 38 minutes of football has been played and it's still a 0-0 draw. Brentford went down to Manchester City by 1-0. And Sunderland will be up against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves at 4 p.m. Central African time, as Wolves are fighting hard to get out of the basement of the Premier League. Burnley takes on at 4 p.m. Central African time. Crystal Palace will take on AFC Bournemouth also at 4 p.m. Central African time, while Brighton and Hove Albion takes on Newcastle at the same time, and Manchester City will be up against Everton also at 4 p.m. Central African time. Fulham takes on Arsenal, and that match is at 18:30 Central African time. Tomorrow at 1500 Central African time, it will be Aston Villa up against Tottenham Hotspur, and Tottenham Hotspur are hosting Aston Villa. So it is a weekend full of nothing but football action. Let's have a look at the Betway fixtures in the South African Premier Soccer League. AmaZulu up against Durban City. Durban City is the team that used to be Maritzburg United and has since relocated to Durban, and it is the provincial derby between the two teams. So it's going to be exciting to see who are the real kings of KwaZulu-Natal. And there's also Magesi up against TS Galaxy, the Rockets, at 17:30 Central African time. Tomorrow, Marumo Gallants up against Chippa United, the Chili Boys, at 15:30 Central African time. We will continue to update you on all things different sporting codes, action happening in Africa and various parts of the world. 14:10, time for a short break.
África. Conhece o Ntivani?
Claro que sou eu.
Ntivani é o amante da música de corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.
Ele aprecia todos os tipos de melodias e passa os seus dias a ouvir a Channel África. Adivinha só, a Channel África quer ajudar o Ntivani e os amantes da música em todo o lado a descobrir ainda mais música incrível. Por isso, a Channel África está a convocar artistas africanos a submeterem as suas músicas. Músicos, lembrem-se de nos dar todas as informações relevantes no music@channelafrica.co.za. As submissões são a vossa oportunidade de ser ouvidos, mas não garantem inclusão na lista. Todas as submissões serão cuidadosamente analisadas para verificar que cumprem os requisitos da nossa estação. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Africa at Play with Neto, Neto Chemane.
14:12 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. We are together until 5 p.m. Central African Time. If you are a cricket fan, the 2025 Women's ICC Cricket World Cup action continues in Middle East in India. Yesterday, Sri Lanka played against South African women Proteas, and the women Proteas won that match by 10 wickets with 31 balls left due to the DLS method. And today there's action between Pakistan women and New Zealand women. New Zealand chose to bowl and yet to bat. So Pakistan have now posted 60 for 3 under 14.3 overs. We will continue to update you with that action. Tomorrow action continues. Match ODI 20 of 31. India women will take on England women, and that match starts at 11:30 Central African Time. Let's now welcome to Africa at Play an award-winning sport journalist from South Africa, Charles Hosiamina Baloyi, a man who's always on the ground looking for exciting stories in the world of athletics and also netball, but not limited to just the two. He's been to 2 Olympics. If my memory serves me well, he's been to the Rio Olympics and also has been to the Paris Olympics, the recent one in 2024. So he comes with a heavy experience and much exciting passion when it comes to the world of sport. We will be looking at the Cape Town Marathon that is happening tomorrow, where 24,000 runners will hit the streets of Mother City running, and it's going to be an exciting edition. Charles Hosiamina Baloyi, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon, Hosi. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon to the listeners across Africa. Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
Thank you so much for joining us, Hosi. Let's get on to it, starting with the Cape Town Marathon. It's one of the exciting marathons, not just for South African runners, but for global runners that always travel all the way from their countries to South Africa to witness it on South African soil, the beauty of the Mother City. What do you have for us?
This is going to be the best Cape Town Marathon races ever. It's a special one because this is the last race staged in its traditional slot of October. As from next year, 24 May, it is going to move to May next year in 2026. So the goal is to turn it into Africa's first major, so that it can be the likes of New York Marathon, London Marathon, those beautiful marathon, Berlin Marathon, the top marathon that our African athletes from Kenya and Ethiopia always go across in America and in Europe to run in. As of next year, all these top international elite runners, men and women, will be coming to South Africa in May because it will be aligned to those races. And it's a process of turning it into a major, and soon it will get there. So it's a very special Cape Town Marathon edition because we are saying goodbye to the October edition. And it's a sold-out affair. All the top runners are there. And what makes this so special is the queen of Ultra Marathon, Gerda Steyn, has never won this race in her entire life. Can you believe it? She has won everything there is to win, but she has never won the Cape Town Marathon. So tomorrow she's poised to win this title for the very first time. And the only person who can stop Gerda from winning it is Gerda herself.
Interesting indeed. If you have just joined us, we're talking to a renowned sports journalist and award-winning Charles Hosiamina Baloyi, all things the world of athletics and netball. Hosi, you've touched on something intriguing about the Cape Town Marathon making it to the elite league alongside the likes of the Boston, London, New York, Chicago, Berlin and Tokyo Marathon. From a distance, when I look at it, I'm thinking, what took it so long? Because it's always been incredible. What were the missing links for the Cape Town Marathon not to have been in that stage before?
I remember to be a major is a very long process. It's as if you are bidding for the Olympic Games to host it. A lot of things must be it must be aligned on the calendar, it must sell well, it must attract the big races, it must be vetted, it must be a qualifier, and all of those stuff, the organization, the route, and everything. So this race has been growing in leaps and bounds over the years and slowly turning into that way, looking at the fields and everything, the prize money and all sorts of things. So it's a very long and drastic journey or process for it to become a major. And it's slowly turning, the wheels are slowly turning, and nobody will be wishing to go to Europe now. Everybody will be saying, we are staying in Africa to first run this one, and then before we can go abroad. So yes, it was a process, and money-wise, organization-wise, and all of these things. So it's a very lengthy process.
Very lengthy process indeed, and it also goes to show that patience is virtue. If you work towards your major goal, there's nothing that will stop you to get there. We are talking to Charles Baloyi about all things athletics and netball. Also, before we jump into netball, in terms of getting this major status when it comes to marathons we have in South Africa and the African continent, which other marathon do you think will go towards that process? Or once we have the Cape Town Marathon, there can never be opportunities for others?
It's rare for others to get there in terms of development. You can look at the two oceans. The two oceans is not even a marathon, it's an ultra marathon. So the only key standard marathon that we have in South Africa now is the Cape Town Marathon. With Soweto, it will never get there with the politics and with all the infightings and all this stuff. Let's just remove it. For now, the only major that we can focus on is the Cape Town Marathon, given the resources and the abilities and everything and where it's positioned in the world. Everybody will love this sea point, the landscape of Cape Town and everything. That's why it's well positioned to becoming a major. So for now, that's the only marathon we can boast about and talk about, with the likes of Stephen Mukwaka going for the 4th title and a growing number of South African athletes showing interest, because tomorrow will be well represented with Bennett Siloy, Thabang Musiako also going there, and Desmond Kobe. So the interest is now becoming there for Africans. With the Kenyans and Ethiopians, we don't even have to say about it. They always support us on a regular basis here. So for now, it's Cape Town Marathon. As it's going to be a lengthy process. There's no marathon that is coming closer to Cape Town.
No marathon coming closer to Cape Town. Those are the words of Charles Baloyi, a man who's always on the ground with his passion covering athletics and many other sporting codes. Hosi, please do stay on the line. We take a short break. When we come back, we're going to have a conversation around the chaos at Netball South Africa. And of course, elections continuing regardless of all these admin disorders. But also, it would be interesting to find out from Hosi, because I know he always has his hammer on standby, ready to break stories. It will be interesting to find out what's the latest athletic story he broke after the short break.
Are you fluent in French, Chinyanja, Portuguese, and Kiswahili? Are you passionate about radio? And are you looking to work in South Africa? Do you have papers that qualify you to work in South Africa? In that case, we might have an opportunity for you to work for Channel Africa. Send us your CV and demo at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Remember, if you don't hear from us within 14 days, it means you have not made it or you have not been selected. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Love music, love culture, love life. Then you will love Channel Africa. Africa at Play, beautifully, happily marrying sports and music.
14:20 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, this is Africa at Play. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. We are still having Charles Baloyi, a renowned award-winning sport journalist from South Africa, on the line with us. We just spoke about the Cape Town Marathon that is happening tomorrow, bright and early. 24,000 runners will hit the ground running. Charles, thank you so much for staying on the line. I know you always have your hammer on standby. What's the latest athletic story that you broke recently?
The netball story. It looked like it was going to be a very quiet week until May Cecilia Mulokwane added some salt and put in the chilies into that meal, and all of a sudden she brought the plate alive. So what happened this week is Cecilia Mulokwane, the suspended South African netball president, called a press conference 6 months after his suspension to break her silence. And what was happening in that press conference was shocking. The revelation when it came out, she came out guns blazing, sparing no one any blushes, blasting SASCOC, blasting Netball South Africa and the council, blasting World Netball for sabotaging her describing it a political smear campaign, them wanting to prevent her from running for the elections next week, and also Saskok, in particular Barry Hendricks, removing her name from the list of presidents in South Africa. She says she's been tried without, she's been judged and tried without a fair trial. She's had no hearing, nobody has communicated with her. And what has she been accused of? Apparently, she misused or stole a couple of millions that were meant for the World Cup, abused the staff, arrest staff, and created a toxic environment for Netball South Africa. Basically, they say she's been running the Netball Federation. So that's also a charge that she's been accused of by World Netball. And after she called this press conference, at the end of the press conference, she restated herself back as the president of Netball South Africa. The following morning, Saskok issued a statement to distance themselves against her. Netball South Africa issued a statement to distance themselves against her, saying she still remains suspended. While Netball issued a statement against her, saying that she's still suspended. So what is likely to happen is she can either file a court interdict to prevent the elections from happening next week. And if she goes ahead and do that, she runs the risk of being banned for life from netball by World Netball governing body next week. And she also resigned from her position as the director of World Netball. So that's what has happened this week. And what we know is that we are still waiting for the final investigation to come out to state whether is she guilty or what will be the next step from here.
Yeah, it is chaos indeed, Hosi. If you ask me, just the poor administration around sports on the African continent is disturbing. It's not just about what we are witnessing at Netball South Africa, but different other federations across the African continent are battling with this same issue of poor administration. And where there's finance involved, it's even more scary because of, human beings and money. You can never put the two. What do you make of this drama as we say goodbye to you?
And also the drama does not only involve also the contract of the CEO, Chemane is coming to an end at the end of the month. It's expiring. But she's been accused of all sorts of bad things, for being a bully, for creating a toxic environment within the federation. And apparently she has received a final warning letter. So if the CEO is dodgy, the president is dodgy, one starts to wonder about the future of netball in South Africa. What's going to happen to the players, to the sponsors and everything, because the CEO also has been accused of all sorts of wrongdoings. The president allegedly steals from the coffers of netball and the money which was meant for the development of the sports, for the World Cup legacy. So what I can make of this situation is after next week's election, the president, who's likely going to be Mamedi Ale, who's not the vice, has to stabilize the ship, call the sponsors, the stakeholders, the council, make an announcement, call the media and say we are starting from scratch, appoint the new CEO, and then start to convince everybody that the sport is in the right hands, because as of now the ship is sinking and it's sinking very fast.
Yeah, disturbing indeed. Charles Osiamena Baloyi, a renowned sports journalist from South Africa, a man who's been to 2 Olympics as we speak and many different athletics events and different sporting codes. Charles, thank you so much for your time and your amazing coverage of the world of athletics and netball.
Thank you so much, Osiamena. Good afternoon.
14:26 Central African Time. That's how we wrap up our conversation with Charles Osiamena Baloyi, a man who broke the story on SABC Sport about the chaos that continues at Netball South Africa, where the president, Cecilia Molokwane, has been suspended and suddenly called a press conference, still reinstating herself as the president and accusing various stakeholders, including Saskok and its head, Barry Hendricks, of an unfair treatment on this issue. And it is disturbing indeed, because at the end of it all, it speaks about poor administration. The dance floor is calling my name, and I've just seen your name too. Let's go to the dance floor.
Are you fluent in French, Chinyanja, Portuguese, and Kiswahili? Are you passionate about radio? And are you looking to work in South Africa? Do you have papers that qualify you to work in South Africa? In that case, we might have an opportunity for you to work for Channel Africa. Send us your CV and demo at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Remember, if you don't hear from us within 14 days, it means you have not made it or you have not been selected. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
Yeah, my eyes dry over. So many things I don't know. I don't smoke, but I could have really rolled one. I know they fake, keep it 100. True to myself, never fear no one. Only Jaja, now my companion. I focus and I stack my money up. Money to stop all nonsense. Look on the form of me, 'cause I know be your mate. And it be glad to see the level they too loud. No fit to handle me. And then my eye know they like sitting way good. Nobody love you like you do, that's why. And I sit for the pain. Never go be there, never go be there, never go be the same. And I sit for the pain. You never go be there, never go be there, never go be the same. Yeah. I've been getting lost in a bottle, drowning out the pain till tomorrow. We shed a couple tears for the ones that we lost on the way. Say a prayer for the ones who remain. 'Cause life cuts, it cuts you deep. You try, but you still can't sleep. You right wrongs, you don't get even. The damage is slowly starts to feel. We start again. Only wise men will eyes dry over, eyes dry over. So if you show me love, me, I go show you love. If you there for me, no say I there for you. Me, I there protect my energy. Good vibes, only thing I need. Look on the form of me, 'cause I know be your mate. And you be glad to see the level they too loud. No fit to handle me. And then my eye know they like sitting way good. Nobody love you like you do, that's why. And I see for the pain. You never gon' be there, never gon' be there, never gon' be the same. And I see for the pain. You never gon' be there, never gon' be there, never gon' be the same.
From football fields to finish lines,
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Neto Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play.
14:31 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. We will be having a conversation zooming into the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup action that's currently underway in India, the host nation. We will be talking to Bongani Ndaba about all things what is happening in India. He is the fielding coach for the women Proteas, and we say big ups for good action that the women Proteas have displayed since the beginning of this tournament. Let's cross over to India and welcome to Africa at Play, Bongani Ndaba. Mr. Ndaba, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Thank you very much, Tata, and everyone at home. Hello.
Thank you so much. It is fresh air to see that the women Proteas are doing so well. What has been the secret in this run of this ICC ODI World Cup that's currently underway?
I think it's maybe a combination of stuff. I think this this group of players has obviously done well over the last couple of years. So it's a lot of momentum in and around that. And if you look at the composition of the squad as well in terms of the experience. So yeah, a lot of big players have stood up in big moments. So we kind of like very, very happy in terms of how the group has actually responded to the challenge in front of them.
I was watching a match against the host nation, India, where it was, it almost went down to the wire for the women Proteas to win that one at one stage with looking for 24 runs out of 20 balls kind of vibe, but they made it happen. And I was left with just one word. Wow. Was that a match of the tournament for the women Proteas so far?
I'd love to believe that we're probably going to have one more big moment. But yeah, so far, I think it's probably one of those highlights. And it just highlights the things that we've been just stressing in and around the group in terms of just a little bit of the self-belief, trusting in our own instincts, staying in the moment, trusting our abilities. If you look in and around in terms of players that are in the squad, these are all players that have probably been in the international circuit for quite some time now. So players like Nadine, Chloe, Kapi, Wolfie, Lava, they've been in and around. So for them to finally stand up in terms of taking the teams over the line in those tight situations has been something that we've really, really held high in this group.
And the last match before we look into Pakistan was Sri Lanka. And again, the women Proteas didn't disappoint. With these number of victories back to back, how much should we still do to get to the semi-finals?
I think if we're looking at calculations and everything, a win takes us over again as we want. But the biggest part in and around these tournaments is about building momentum. So we're probably taking it one game at a time. And I mean, 3 victories takes us home with the trophy. So we're probably going to try and stick to that, keep the winning formula and keep the momentum going.
If you have just joined us, we are talking to the Momentum Women Proteas, Bongani Ndaba, who is the fielding coach, who is down in India with the team. And he must just know, together with the team, that the entire Africa rallies behind them. Bongs, let's talk about your role as a fielding coach. What precisely do you do?
Oh, yeah, I think I get the tough job of every catch that goes down, and everyone has got a long memory of that, and then everything that goes down well, everyone's got a really short memory of that. But yeah, in and around that, my job is just to galvanize the girls, man, and just get them to believe in their abilities. We've got a great SNC in Zane Webster who's really improved their athletic profile. So in terms of my job, it's made my job a lot more easier in terms of working with their skills and just getting their confidence up. I think everything in terms when you look at any African child, we're born with no natural ability. So a lot of these girls have got a lot of that, and my job is just to enhance and get that self-belief going.
The next match is against Pakistan, and you said you're taking it one game at a time, which I believe is the awesome approach. What can we expect in this upcoming match?
Yeah, I think as a group, we still got a few things that we really want to get better at, and looking at how the girls are in detail in terms of their own games. So there's still small elements that we still want to tick over. So I think Pakistan gives us that great opportunity before we get on to Oz as well and into the big moments later on. But Pakistan, it's just about, again, just being present and being where our feet are and really, really trying to...
Mr. Ndaba, are you still there?
I'm still here, sir.
Oh, you got cut off a bit. Yeah, you can pick up from just a moment backward.
Oh, okay. Yeah, as I was saying, I think Pakistan, we're just going to really try and stay present. There is a few small stuff that we really want to improve on. And the detail that the players have really gone into in terms of what they want to get out of the game has been impressive. So the one-on-one meetings have really taken on a high because players have got certain goals in and around the team goals. So I'm really looking forward to what we dish out in the next couple of days.
As the coaching team, have you been able to zoom into other opponents? Because in the world of cricket, you meet someone in the pool stages only to meet them later on, either in the semis or the final. How well do you know Pakistan? How well do you know the Aussies that are still coming? But overall, have you been able to zoom into all these opponents that you find yourselves with in this ongoing ICC World Cup so that when you meet them, you're not meeting strangers?
Absolutely. So I think that's part of the reasons, or part of how the game has actually evolved. We've got a video analyst in Abram Haramohadi whose job is to look into the future and really um, prepare stuff for us in terms of packages of how the different teams might come across us. And having also played Pakistan over the last month before coming to the World Cup, I do feel that we do have quite a strong feeling of how they go about their business. And in terms of game plans, I think we should have a strong way of how do we want to go about doing stuff, provided that the weather obviously plays its part. And then when it comes to Australia, I think I always say you're only as good as your last game. And the last time we played Australia was in a semi-final in the T20 World Cup. So we've got good feelings going towards that game as well later on in the tour. So there'll be a little bit of momentum. Yes, there'll be nerves. Yes, there'll be a lot of this. But the moment, it's all about staying in the moment and really trying to play our best cricket. I think the biggest focus for us has been really looking inwards, trusting our own ability, because we do know if we play our best cricket, we are a side that probably most teams in the world don't want to play against.
And also, Coach, just talking about the game against Australia that's still coming up, which is going to be a grudge game because of having played them in the T20 World Cup semi-finals. Is this now a scenario where coaches have less to say and players will just be extra motivated because of this grudge?
I think it's the same as playing India. I mean, there's no motivation. There's no more greater motivation. If you look at the history and the success of this Australian side, there's always something to play for when you play against them. So I'm definitely sure post this game against Pakistan, a few of the ladies will have a real look into that game. And games like those are games that players are made of. You know, players stand up, names get remembered for. So definitely sure the girls will really jump into those moments there. But the biggest moment for us at the moment is this Pakistan game over the next couple. And then, yeah, from there on, I think we will really jump into Australia and try and find different various ways to upset the Aussies.
That's the voice of Bongani Ndaba, who is the fielding coach for the women Proteas that are on national duty representing South Africa and the African continent very well in India at the ongoing ICC Women's ODI World Cup that will be concluding on the 2nd of November. And you know what that means. It means that is the day of the final. And without any pressure to the women Proteas, it would just be exhilarating to see their name in that final as soon as the moment comes. And not just being there, but lifting the trophy. I don't know if you want to react to that. Thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play.
Well, I'm just saying it's Operation Maibuya Lekaya. We do know what is at stake, and we do know the opportunity that we have in front of us to represent not just South Africa, but Africa. So we do know that there is a bigger call and a bigger purpose in and around this. So we are focused on that. And as I said, if we win the small moments, the big moment on the second will really take care of itself. But from us on this side, we do feel the love, and we do thank everyone for supporting, and we can feel the African love from all the way here. Thank you very much, Stat.
Thank you very much, Coach. All the best. Please do pass our regards to the team in camp. Tell them that from the Africa at Play family, we are rallying behind them, and not just us, but the entire country and the African continent.
That I will definitely do.
14:40 Central African Time. That's how we wrap up our conversation, zooming into the ongoing ICC Women's Cricket World Cup down in India, where the women Proteas have beaten Sri Lanka yesterday, and their next match is on Monday the 21st, where they will be taking on Pakistan, and after that they will be taking on Australia in a grudge game, a side they've met in the T20 World Cup semi-finals, and it's going to be fire blazing. And what happens after that? It will be the semi-final time and to the finals, and we say big ups to the women Proteas. This is Africa at Play. As Delil Shire, we are back again after the short break.
Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
África. Conhece o Ntivani?
Claro que sou eu.
Ntivani é o amante da música de corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.
Ele aprecia todos os tipos de melodias e passa os seus dias a ouvir a Channel África. Adivinha só, a Channel África quer ajudar o Ntivani e os amantes da música em todo o lado a descobrir ainda mais música incrível. Por isso, a Channel África está a convocar artistas africanos a submeterem as suas músicas. músicos. Lembrem-se de nos dar todas as informações relevantes no music@channelafrica.co.za. As submissões são a vossa oportunidade de ser ouvidos, mas não garantem inclusão na lista. Todas as submissões serão cuidadosamente analisadas para verificar se cumprem os requisitos da nossa estação. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
14:42 Central African Time. A very warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, we are together until 5 p.m. Central African Time. It's time for sports news, starting with netball news. Despite the controversy surrounding suspended Netball South Africa NSA President Cecilia Molokwane, the Federation's elections to select a new board will proceed as scheduled on the 25th of October. Molokwane, who was suspended by World Netball 6 months ago for alleged financial misconduct and staff harassment, broke her silence during a press conference on Thursday. NSA is currently facing turbulent times following unsettling reports involving both the CEO, Neto Chemane, and Molokwane. Speaking to SABC Sport, NSA Acting President Mamedi Ali confirmed that the elections will continue as planned, stressing that only the council has the power and the authority to postpone or cancel.
The elections, as Netball South Africa, we follow the process and procedure. We have a constitution that is guiding us. So acting outside the constitution, it's quite, a challenge for us. But at the end of the day, council, it's a decision. That's where we make decision. That's where we take a resolution. So for elections, at this moment, the process of elections, it's continue until we call an SGM as Netball South Africa to give members a platform to, discuss on this issue of the postponement of election or for us to continue with elections. Council will take that decision.
Netball South Africa released a statement on Friday confirming that Molokwane remains under suspension despite her dramatic press conference in which she declared herself as the reinstated president. When asked if she would contest for the presidency, the soft-spoken Diale remained diplomatic, saying her fate lies in the hands of the council members. She added that her focus is on ensuring stability within the federation and that the new leadership reflects the will of the members.
As for me, standing for a position, members, they dominate. And they know who they want, on which position. Whether you can aspire to be in whatever position, but it's the members that nominate and it's the members that vote. So that, one cannot predict.
The future of NSA CEO Neto Chemane remains uncertain as her contract is due to expire at the end of the month. Diale confirmed that the new board to be elected next week will decide whether Chemane continues in her role. Chemane has recently been in the spotlight for negative publicity, including allegations of bullying, claiming she strongly denied, and reports suggesting that she received a warning for misconduct.
I think it was discussed at the March Council where we indicated that the CEO's contract will come to an end, but it's end of October. And on that end of October, there's new management. So we therefore said the new executive member will decide going forward.
Diale maintained a composed stance, refusing to be drawn into the ongoing controversies, including the CEO. She told SABC Sport that internal matters will be handled within the federation and not in public, emphasizing that her priority remains the players and the sport.
I think on that one, I would rather pass on it, not comment on it. What is important for us and for me as the acting president is to ensure that Netball South Africa's welfare is well taken care of. So that's the most important thing to me. Netball come first, players come first, the organization, it comes first. So the focus is on that and what we are here for. I think that's what we need to focus on. And the rest, let's leave it for internal, members to deal with it.
On to football news. The Tanzanian Premier League could become a viable destination for PSL players, according to former Yanga and Simba CEO Senzo Mbata. Mamelodi Sundowns have already paved the way, with Rashni Diruk joining Simba on loan and Neo Mayema making what appears to be a permanent move. Speaking to SA Football Journalists Association this week, Mbata said he believes Tanzania's two biggest clubs are well equipped to compete financially and attract more South African talent.
In Tanzania, there's like 4 or 5 clubs that are at the level of paying players well. By saying well is like being able to pay a player a salary that will allow them to move out of their country to Tanzania. And you'll see that these big 4 clubs, majority of their players are players from outside. I mean, Yanga, for instance, they've got about 10 to 12 players that are outside, that are from outside. When I was there at the time, I think they still keeping the same number because of the regulations as well. So, you know, the pay is good, to be honest with you, but you cannot compete per se with if South African club had to compete with the Tanzanian club for a particular player, I think South African club would win that bid, you know. But that does not mean that they are unable to match the salaries. They are there in terms of ensuring that they are able to match salaries, they are able to pay signing on fees, and the living conditions are good. I mean, Tanzania has always been good and is continuing to improve. Dar es Salaam is a good city to stay at, you know. It's a modern city, you know. The only thing that they will struggle with might be the language barrier, but with time, they will get that sorted as well.
Mbata does, however, consider that while Tanzanian football continues to improve in structure and professionalism, it still demands players with strong mental resilience, given its volatile nature.
I'm sure with the upcoming AFCON and the chain that has passed, the training facilities and the attitude towards professionalism is also improving. So I don't think that players moving to Tanzania, they'll struggle that much. But, you know, it has its own challenges, Tanzania. You know, it can be good to you, but when tables turn, really you can feel the wrath of the supporters, you know. But I think it's a good thing to see our players even considering those markets, the East African market. But I'm not too sure if too many would want to go there. I mean, I would assume even the deal of Miami, if it is a loan deal, there must have been a serious consideration in terms of how much money will Simba pay vis-a-vis what Sundowns was willing to let the player go at.
But pointed out that South African coaches like Fadlu Davids have also contributed to making the Tanzanian Premier League an alternative option.
Don't underestimate the influence of Coach Fadlu when he was there. You know, you go there as a player because you know that the coach is a fellow South African. So it's, you know, it makes life a little bit easier for you to decide. You know, unfortunately, he had to leave, but Miami is still there and the Rook is still there. They're good players. You know, they should be able to work with any coach that comes to the club. You know, Tanzania is a good country, and I'm glad that it's been seen as another market. You know, when we went to Tanzania in 2019, people called into one radio show and said Senzo is going to Tanzania for holiday. You know, there's no league there, it's fisherman's world and things like that. But I'm glad that, you know, we've managed to contribute to the awareness and brand Tanzania, brand football Tanzania into Africa. So I'm definitely sure they are not the last. There will be more that will go that direction.
But I noted that, however, Tanzanian clubs are selective in their recruitment.
The type of players that goes to also those markets are usually players that are at the peak of their careers towards the end of their careers. You hardly find young up-and-coming players going to those markets because it's a quick fix arrangement that those clubs want. They don't want a player that still young, he's a promising, you know, they want a very well-known player. He's played for Sundowns. Oh, he's good. We want him. He must come. You know, so even the type of players go there are those types that are at their peak towards the end of their career. They will normally stay 2, 3, 4 years, you know, depending on how well they were received in Tanzania.
Earlier in the week, the Zambian under-17 women national team played a friendly match against Colombia. The match ended 1-1 and was played behind closed doors. Here's coach Carol Kanyamba.
Having played the first friendly against Colombia, I think we were able to see most of the things that we've been working on. Our team's coordination, balancing, attack, but I think we've still fallen short of finishing. We created a lot of chances, but we failed to make them count. But in defense, at least we had good organization, though we had few lapses in the midfield, which we still need to work on. And the beauty with friendlies is that they expose your strengths and your weaknesses, and we're able to see that. And before we play our first game, I think we're going to coordinate on our team's work so that we get everything into place.
Still in football news, Kaizer Chiefs were not able to register new striking acquisition Kanyisa Mayo in time for their opening scrimmage in this season's CAF Confederation Cup, but the 27-year-old marksman is now available and is likely to lead to the attack on Saturday when the team takes on AS Simba. There are several windows of opportunity to register players with the Confederation of African Football to play in continental competition, and Mayo has had his paperwork sorted after he missed the narrow win over Angola's Cabo Scope in the first round. Chiefs played their second round first leg tie against a club from the Democratic Republic of Congo at the TP Mazembe Stadium in Lubumbashi on Saturday. It is also expected that Saturday's clash will mark a first outing for Lebogang Mabue, who was signed on a free transfer after being released from his contract at Mamelodi Sundowns. The 31-year-old Mabue, whose injury woes in recent seasons have stymied his progress, last played on the final day of the previous league season in May when he ended his loan spell at SuperSport United. In motorsport, McLaren's Lando Norris set a place in practice at the United States Grand Prix, split from teammate and title rival Oscar Piastri by Sauber's Nico Hülkenberg. Norris trailing the Australian by 22 points with 6 races to go, ahead of Piastri on 0.279 seconds at the start of a sprint weekend at the Circuit of the Americas. Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso was fourth fastest ahead of Red Bull's Max Verstappen and Williams' Alex Albon. This was the only session before sprint qualifying at 22:30. In cricket news, the Proteas women captain Laura Wolfert expressed relief after their 10-wicket thrashing of the co-host Sri Lanka via the Duckworth-Lewis Stern method at the ICC Women's World Cup on yesterday. South Africa matched up their fourth win on the trot, having earlier gotten better of New Zealand, India and Bangladesh following a tournament opening defeat to England. 14:55 Central African Time. You are still tuned in to Africa at Play. We will be having an exciting conversation with our bundle and teenager in sport, talking all things acrobatic dance and gymnastics. This is Africa at Play as Deleli Shaya. Before we have that conversation, the dance floor is calling our names.
Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
Fire mata, I be go. Fire mata, I go carry go. Fire mata, I go scatter city, scatter town. Oh, Eva, oh, Eva. If I ever be your man, I go choose you before everybody. Oh, Eva, oh, Eva. If I ever be your man, I go choose you before everybody. Oh, 2, 3, 4. Call my number +234. What the hell are you waiting for? Fry my brain with your cooking pot, baby, no way to. Full import, sexy girl in a blue pin Porsche. Smash up girl, we don't need my funds. Oh my lord, oh. Oh Eva, oh Eva. If I ever be your man, I go choose you before everybody. Oh Eva, oh Eva. I be go. Fire mata, I go carry go. Fire mata, I go scatter city, scatter town. Fire mata, I be go. Fire mata, I go carry go. Fire mata, I go scatter city, scatter town.
Dans mon trône, il me manque une vraie queen. Une vraie. Mais toi, t'inquiète pas, je suis sous emprise. Nana Kobalo, Nana Lela, Nana Yo. T'es ma meilleure carte d'Afrique.
I go choose you before everybody. Oh, if I go choose you before everybody. Akka, for your mata, I be akka girl. For your mata, I go carry girl. For your mata, I go scatter city, scatter town. Akka, for your mata, I be akka girl. For your mata, I go carry girl. For your mata, I go scatter city, scatter town. Ask a lady from Africa. Oh, yo, original.
You heard something you like on Channel Africa and you would like to hear it again? Worry not, we've got your back. Just go to our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, and look for our podcast. Channel Africa's Africa at Play is a bundle of joy in sports with Neto, Neto Chemane. Exclusive to Africa at Play on Channel Africa. Teenagers in Sports with Neto, Neto Chemane.
14:59 Central African Time. The song we played you was a song titled Ifa by Oxlade featuring Fadi Ipupa. As we say goodbye to the first hour of Africa at Play, heading straight to the second hour, an hour of excitement where we kick off conversations with the young ones that are doing their thing in different sporting codes. That's why we take them so special. Our bundle of joy in sport together with our teenager in sport. Let's start by welcoming our bundle of joy in sport. I like her nickname already, Otta, and her full name is Otaliven Dudane, who was born on the 4th of August 2017, and her sports of choice is gymnastics and acrobatic dance, and she goes to Remsach Academy currently in grade 2. A very exciting 8-year-old who's got big plans to participate at the Olympics one day. Otta, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm fine. So when did you start participating in acrobatic dance?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you've been at it for some time now. Ne? What do you like so much about it?
That we win trophies and stuff.
That you win trophies. Now, how do you feel knowing that you are a champion material that gets called onto the stage saying, hey, Otaliven Dudane is our champion? Do you feel good about it?
Yeah.
Is it? Lovely stuff. And when last did you win a trophy? When did they present you with a trophy saying, Otta, you are the champion?
No, we were doing with medals.
With medals. Wow. So either you win a trophy or you win a medal. Do you remember the color of the medal? Because it can either be gold, silver, or bronze. Do you remember the color?
It was gold.
It was gold.
High gold.
High gold. Wow. Interesting indeed. What did your mother say when she witnessed that you are a high gold winning material?
She was proud of me.
Is it? What did she say to you?
She said I am a star.
Did she kiss you?
Yes.
Wow, interesting stuff. Let's also welcome to Africa at Play our teenager in sport. Her name is Nkateko Mahlangu and she's 15-year-old and currently in grade 9. She started acrobatics in 2018 at the age of 8 as a junior acrobat under coach Zelda, and she's still at it. Nkateko, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Hello.
Can you speak Tsonga?
No, not yet.
Is it? But you know your name is in Tsonga, ne?
Yes.
So you must make an effort, ne? So I'll give you basics so that when you go home with basics. Ne? So in the morning you say Abshin.
Abshin.
And then someone will ask you Minjani. Then you say Ifukile Minjani. And then in the afternoon you say Nhligani. You got it? Yeah, so you must go master your Tonga and then come back. Then I'll give you Portuguese basics as well. Ne?
Okay.
Yeah, tell us about acrobatic dance. What is it all about?
It's like, for me, how I see it, it's a mixture of like acrobatics from gymnastics and dancing as a whole. So it's very fun and interesting to do.
Wow, interesting indeed. And at what point, having started at the age of 8, at what point did you feel comfortable that, no man, this is my sport?
I think when I was like 10, I was like properly like comfortable and used to it, all of it.
When last did you participate?
Like a competition.
Compete, yeah.
We had a competition, I think it was last week, the weekend. From last week, Thursday, and then our last day was Saturday.
And how did it go?
It was very, very good.
Is it? What position did you achieve?
We work with medals, also, like she said. And then we got, for our group dances, we got diamond, which is the highest. And then for my solo, I got gold.
Wow, interesting indeed. And what did your parents say when they realized that, hey, one day you'll be going on a flight to the Olympics?
Not sure. I don't remember what they said exactly.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, but they were happy for you.
Yes, very, very happy.
Ah, okay, lovely stuff. Ota, talk to us about gymnastics, acrobatics. Do you enjoy both of them?
Yeah.
Is it? And gymnastics, what sort of moves do you enjoy doing?
I like doing cast on bar.
Ah, cast on bar.
And leg overs.
And leg overs. So what's happening when it comes to cast on bar? What do you do as a gymnast?
So we lift up our hips so they don't touch the bar. And leg overs, we put our leg over the bar.
Interesting. You see, you've taught a lot of African listeners something fresh when it comes to gymnastics. You're a teacher too, you see. One day you'll be a gymnastics coach and an acrobatics dance coach and all of that. So between you and your mother, who's the best dancer? I know it's you. Is it you? Ah, interesting indeed. So have they told you, has the coach told you when is the next competition?
Which one in acro?
Yeah.
It's on December.
Ah, it's in December, so there's no Christmas break for you. Or it will be early December, just before Christmas.
Early December.
Early December. And gymnastics?
The 1st of November.
The 1st of November. You are so amazing. You even have the dates in your mind. Amazing indeed. How's life at your school at Remsach Academy?
It's good.
It's good. What do you like so much about going to Remsach Academy?
We get to play in the morning.
Ah, you get to play in the morning, so when you go to class, you are already active and fit in mind. Interesting indeed. Do you have friends there?
Yes.
Who are they?
It's Ora and Ritu and Michaela.
Oh, so is Ora, Ritu and Michaela also part of acrobatic dance and gymnastics?
Ora and Ritu are part of it.
Ah, okay. And what about Michaela? What does she get up to?
She just goes home.
She just goes home. Ah, okay. And who's your coach?
From where?
From acrobatics.
Teacher Zelda.
Teacher Zelda. Do you have a different coach for gymnastics?
Yes.
And who's your coach there?
Coach Lefono and Coach Alyssa.
Interesting. Talk to us about Coach Zelda. What kind of a coach is she?
Acro coach.
Yeah. What do you like so much about her?
The tricks.
Ah, the tricks. She's got all the tricks in mind. She's got all the answers to the problems. Interesting indeed. Let's also welcome back to the conversation Nkateko Mahlangu. So Nkateko, in your school, what's your favorite subject?
Currently it's natural sciences.
Natural sciences. Why natural sciences?
Because I enjoy like sciences a lot, especially biology.
Ah, okay. Interesting indeed. So if you finish your matric, what's the plan?
The plan is university to get like a doctor, to get my degree in medicine and surgery.
So you'll be a doctor / gymnast / acrobatic dancer, or you'll divorce acrobatic dancing and gymnastics when you become a doctor?
I'm not sure right now. I haven't really thought about it.
You'll worry about it when you get there. Yeah, interesting indeed, and a good choice as well, because medically, there's always a need for doctors to help people with different sicknesses. Let's talk again about your gymnastics journey. Where would you like to see yourself?
I really don't think about it that much, but it's like I feel like it's better to enjoy it in the moment and see how it goes over time.
Oh, wow. But if you get an opportunity to travel and go showcase your skills somewhere around the world, where would it be?
If I was to choose, I don't really have like a set place to go because any place is fine because every place has its own different experiences.
I see. But you don't have like a favorite country where you would kill two birds with one stone, experience gymnastics, but also get to see the beauty of that country? Or you like it more in South Africa?
I don't really like do a lot of research about other countries that much.
So you'll worry when the opportunities are on the table.
Yes.
Okay. Have you witnessed Ota doing her thing?
Yes, like a few times at past conversations, I do see her dances.
Is it? And what kind of an acrobatic dancer is she?
I know she's very good and she shows like a lot of promising talent. And you can see her, she's gonna go like very very far with.
And how do you feel looking at her, knowing that you started at her age? She's 8 now, and you started at 8, and she's, you can sort of see yourself in her when you were still 8 years. Do you have that kind of a comparison?
Yes, because I feel like, especially with the little ones, compared to when I was their age, they are doing so much better than me, and they are like so much better dancers than I was at that age.
So the earlier you start, the better, because when you get to your teen ages, then you're as good as a great acrobatic dancer.
Essentially, yes.
Wow, interesting indeed. Ota, did you get to witness Nkateko doing her thing as an acrobatic dancer?
No.
You haven't, ne? So maybe
some I have seen.
Or some you have seen. You just have to make time and compare the dates with her so that you can see, how she moves, what she does differently, something that you can learn from, because you could be great in everything you do, but there's always room for improvement because there's always someone who's done it perhaps more than you, and they are now at an elite level, and you can learn a thing or two from them, and you even beat them in it, you see?
Yeah.
Lovely stuff indeed. Thank you so much for pulling through to Africa at Play. So come the 1st of November, what can we expect from Ota in the next competition that you told me about?
In the 1st of November?
Yeah.
We're doing a dance.
Yeah, it's acrobatic dance.
No.
Or just a dance?
It's gymnastics.
Oh, it's gymnastics. So what can we expect on that day? A good performance?
Yeah.
Ne? You coming back with a high gold medallion?
Yeah.
Ne? It will be good, ne? Because remember, once you receive a certain level of achievement, you have to try and maintain, because other competitors, other opponents, they are now coming after you. They want to know, what is it that Ota is doing right? What can we do to beat her? That kind of vibe. Yeah. You came with your mother here. What kind of a mother is she?
She's a good mother.
Is it? What do you like so much about her?
She controls my emotions.
She controls your emotions, eh? She's a smart mother, ne? So she knows how to deal with Ota's emotions and make sure that Ota is mostly happy than sad. Oh, okay. When last did you have a good laugh with your mother?
Last year.
Last year?
This year.
And this year? Well, what were you laughing about?
When I was young, busy talking, even though I was still young.
I see. Interesting indeed. And as we wrap up this conversation, in your sport as an acrobatic dancer and as a gymnast, is it an expensive sport? Do you need sponsorships, or you are doing just fine?
I'm doing just fine.
You're doing fine. But if sponsorships come, they come, right?
Yes.
Wow. It's the first time I speak to an athlete who feels like, no, they are okay. They don't really need sponsorships. But maybe one day you will realize that, hey, Uncle Neto was right. Sport can be expensive to maintain, because sometimes it's the mother having to take you to acrobatic dancing or to gymnastic classes, of course, depending on when they are happening. And that takes petrol, that takes tires and so many things, and the time as well. Ne? Yeah. What would you like to say to listeners listening to this conversation? children your age that could be interested in joining acrobatic dancing and gymnastics one day?
I think some of my friends in my complex.
Okay. What did you like to say to them?
I would like to say, would you like to join acro or gymnastics?
Interesting indeed. So if they are willing, they must just go for it. Ne? Interesting indeed. Except for acrobatics and gymnastics, what else do you like as a hobby? Maybe swimming or playing tennis, or it's just these two?
Swimming and netball.
Swimming and netball. Do you like netball?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe one day you could play for the Spa Proteas, you know? I was at the Netball World Cup in Cape Town in 2023, and the Spa Proteas played well, although they finished 6th. And I'm just thinking that that Netball World Cup must come back maybe 10 years from now on, so that you can be in that team and help the team to win the first position.
Okay.
Lovely stuff indeed. Thank you so much for pulling through to Africa at Play. Let's also wrap up the conversation with Nkateko Mahlangu. Nkateko, thank you so much for pulling through to Africa at Play. Except for acrobatic dancing and gymnasts, what else is your hobby?
I also enjoy reading, just like on my free time. None of that.
Okay. What's the interesting book that you last read?
It was what is it called? A series of unfortunate events.
Series of unfortunate events. And what's happening there? Can you give us a short brief?
It's about 3 orphan siblings and having to switch between families in order to find what their parents are hiding from them and their parents' secrets and all of that.
Interesting indeed. Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Lovely stuff. And the future is bright. What's going to be happening in 2026, seeing that 2025 is almost a thing of the past? Will you be continuing as a gymnast, as an acrobatic dancer?
I will be continuing with acrobatic dancing.
With acrobatic dancing?
Yes.
Please continue doing well. What did you like to say to your classmates?
And that they should find passions to do and pursue them.
Interesting indeed. Thank you so much. That's how we wrap up our conversation with our bundle of joy in sport, Otalive, also known as Otandudani, together with Nkateko Mahlangu, an 8-year-old and 15-year-old respectively. After the short break, we'll get to find out from the coach what it takes to be a good acrobatic dancer, a good gymnast. And of course, the mother to Ota is also here, Snovuyo Ndudani. This is Africa at Play. Astelel Siashai.
Got something to say? Are you passionate about issues that matter? Do you have a voice that deserves to be heard? Well, we've got the perfect platform for you. Call in or drop us a WhatsApp on +27 63 406 9126. And we will call you back so you could have your say and be part of the conversation.
30 years of age. I just turned 30 on the 15th of November. So that's who I am, you know.
It's not just talk. It's your chance to air your views. Share your opinion. Engage with the community that values your perspective. Follow us on our social media. Visit our website at www.channelafrica.co.za and get ready to share your views on Channel Africa, the African perspective. Are you fluent in French, Chinyanja, Portuguese, and Kiswahili? Are you passionate about radio? And are you looking to work in South Africa? Do you have papers that qualify you to work in South Africa? In that case, we might have an opportunity for you to work for Channel Africa. Send us your CV and demo at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Remember, if you don't hear from us within 14 days, it means you have not made it or you have not been selected. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Africa at Play. Beautifully, happily marrying sports and music.
15:16 Central African Time. So what are the bundles of joy in sport and teenagers in sport to get up to when they are not in the classroom? It's good to see that Otalive and Dudani together with Nkateko Mahlangu, they get up to acrobatic dancing and gymnastics. But sport is always expensive, especially when these young ones are doing exceptionally well. Then you start hearing of opportunities to go and participate abroad, and that's where the parents have to start thinking of breaking deeper into their pockets because they are not allowed to go break the bank. Let's welcome the mother to Otta, Snow Vuyondruvdani. Snow, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Hi Neto, thank you for having us and thank you for having our kids.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. It's good to speak to these young ones because we don't want a scenario where one day they make it to Olympics and all the journalists, only then they start waking up wanting to speak to them. So they must remember that it started here. Yeah. What does it take for Otta to be a good athlete in gymnastics and acrobatic dancing?
I must first credit the coaches. They are doing an exceptionally well job because Otalive started acrobat this year. She started gymnastics last year, and already with acrobat, she literally just improved like in a very speed. It just, I give the credit to them, and also obviously us as parents, we do support them. I do support her financially and with time to make sure that she's there to training and to make sure that she attend the competitions. So it takes a lot of time from the coaches and patience, and a lot of time from parents, and breaking the bank.
Wow, exciting indeed. We also have another parent to our teenager in sport, Nkateko Mahlangu, the 15-year-old gymnast and acrobatic dancer, future medical doctor. And her mother is Linda. Ma'am Linda, thank you so much for joining us on Africa at Play. Talk to us about Nkateko. What kind of an athlete is she?
Well, Nkateko is a very dedicated athlete to an extent that her father and I don't have weekends anymore. They're all dedicated to her and her exercise routines and obviously the monies we need to pay for the classes and the trips that they get into as well. So, yeah.
How did it come about for Nkateko to get into acrobatic dancing and gymnastics? Because these are sporting codes that have a very unique history of no representation of not everyone on board in terms of different races. But now we're starting to see a new shape, a new direction where it's no longer like the past, where when you talk acrobatic dancing, people think it's white people's things. It's everyone's things. We see now with Nkateko, we see with Otta, and it's actually quite fresh because, the last Olympics, we only had, I think, one gymnast, Caitlin Rosecrans, and that goes to show that the more we get these gymnasts participating at a tender age, then the future looks good in as far as these Olympic competitions and other global competitions are coming.
Well, actually, it started very funny. When she was growing up, she had this tendency of biting her toenails. So we thought, what's wrong with this child?
Yeah.
And then we saw an advert on our community newspaper of the school, actually, that offers acrobatics. And the classes were actually down the road from us. And then we enrolled her there. And then she's been enjoying it since.
Wow. From biting toenails to gymnastics and acrobatics. So that was a good sign.
Yeah.
Interesting indeed. I've never heard of such.
Yeah,
wow.
It looked very weird.
Yeah. Snow, what's still coming up for Otta, and what does it mean in terms of, the sport itself? Is it expensive for them to be participating in these tournaments, or it only gets expensive as they grow old?
It is already expensive because they are doing pretty well because they won in the nationals. Like I said, like 2 platinums. So they have they have national colors, and then they qualify to go compete in Europe. So it is expensive because now we're looking at that they have to go, because you don't want to disappoint a child when she's doing well locally, and then now when she has an opportunity to take another stride. So it does get expensive. It is better like now locally, but it is still. But then when you have to go abroad, it is more expensive.
Where in Europe is the next competition?
There is there's Serbia that we
Serbia.
Serbia that we know, but I'm not quite sure if there are many options. But then the coach did tell us that Serbia is one of the countries that I'll be going to.
Yeah, that's where you have to put together 60K or something like that.
And talking about an 8-year-old, you have to have a parent around, when they're going to, and they're quite a lot. Teachers Older is coaching quite a lot of kids, so you don't expect a coach to go with those kids alone. So it's deep.
Yeah. I can see a big smile from the coach.
Yeah.
Maybe the coach has just received a WhatsApp that says, we are listening to Africa at Play. Worry not, we will donate $1 billion to...
Oh, we want that.
acrobatics.
We want that. Maybe let that WhatsApp come. They will not regret. She's doing extremely well with the kids. Like I said, Otalive joined this year, and like she's now international. Like literally, she's international. And when you watch them, it's not just mediocre, but like these kids are performing.
Wow.
They just own the stage, and she's doing very, very well with them. Even when you chat with them, and then they will tell you that when she said tricks, she'll always say that Tizazata has tricks. You know, she'll always demonstrate those tricks, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's like, yeah, you don't get over the tricks.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Incredible indeed. No, thank you so much for sharing your time with us on Africa at Play, but also the support that you give to the young ones is amazing. I actually started my day down the road in Louis Botha Avenue at the Balfour Alexandra Football Club. It was packed there because some of the bundles of joy in sport that we get to interview, the parents called me, please come and support, and I went there, and it was just amazing. And the one boy that we've hosted recently, Khotso Nkosi, was part of the team, and they won 5-1, you know.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
Yeah, but the parents were there. It was raining, but it was, you know, parents in different fields. I think there were like 4 fields there, all busy with football action, and I was like, this is just so good because you are saving them from teenage pregnancy and a whole lot of things, substance abuse and all of that. It's good when they grow in different levels of sport, because one day you will not have to work again, because, you know, when they come back from Olympics, they'll come back with US dollars. Thank you so much for pulling through to Africa at Play.
Thank you so much, Neto, for having us.
Madam, thank you so much. Your parting shot?
My parting shot is the kids are very good. So if anyone wants to sponsor us, please. Because, yes, they actually qualify to go to either Serbia or Italy. Both those countries are expensive to travel to. So, yeah. Thank you.
Why not? Everyone that has come to Africa at Play has not failed in their trip going abroad. So they always somehow make ends meet, receive funding or sponsorship, and things happen because this is the home of these teenagers in sport and bundles of joy in sport. That's how we wrap up our conversation with the parents, because they play an important role in making certain that their kids excel in whatever choice of sport that they came up with. Unlike those that are not getting any support from their parents, at times they end up not delivering to their full potential because of that lack of support. After the short break, we will wrap up the conversation with the coach to find out how do you get these athletes to this fine shape.
África. Conhece o Ntivani?
Claro que sou eu.
Ntivani é o amante da música de corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.
Ele aprecia todos os tipos de melodias e passa os seus dias a ouvir a Channel África. Adivinha só, a Channel África quer ajudar o Ntivani e os amantes da música em todo o lado a descobrir ainda mais música incrível. Por isso, a Channel África está a convocar artistas africanos a submeterem as suas músicas. Músicos, lembrem-se de nos dar todas as informações relevantes no music@channelafrica.co.za. As submissões são a vossa oportunidade de ser ouvidos, mas não garantem inclusão na lista. Todas as submissões serão cuidadosamente analisadas para verificar se cumprem os requisitos da nossa estação. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
AUSISA, the Association of Water and Sanitation Institution of South Africa, is a platform uniting Africa's water professionals. This November, Africa leads the conversation on water and sanitation. Join global and African leaders at the AUSISA Africa and Global South Dialogue 2025 from the 9th till the 12th of November at the Emperor's Palace, Johannesburg. From policy innovation, this is where action meets collaboration for a water-secure future. Register today at ausisa-water-dialogue.org or follow at AUSISA on social media. AUSISA, working together for sustainable water and sanitation security in Africa. Channel Africa's Africa at Play is a bundle of joy in sports with Neto, N-E-T-O Chemane. Exclusive to Africa at Play on Channel Africa. Teenagers in sports with Neto, N-E-T-O Chemane.
15:26 Central African Time. You're still tuned in to Africa's number one, Africa at Play. A dream of three sisters to teach young dancers to share their knowledge and technique to the next generation has started in 2001. Ludic's Acro Dance Studio opened their doors in January 2001. For 24 years, Let's has worked hard, obtaining various national and international awards from Johannesburg to Spain and even in Rome. Through the guidance of Talent Africa, the platform that provides international trips, Let's has competed at the following competitions. In 2002, Let's took a few dancers to compete at the Mediterranean Dance Festival in Spain, where a group won the overall Acro group and took home various top 3 placings. In 2024, Let's compete at the Novi Sad Serbia competition and walked away with 7 podium placings, including first, second, and third for the Acro group section. And of course, the achievements go more than the duration of Africa at Play, so we'll leave it at that. Let's welcome Coach Zelda to this conversation. Coach, thank you so much and welcome to Africa at Play. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, interesting indeed. You have been at it for many years. I'm certain other good athletes, good acrobatic dancers that you've contributed positive to are not at the age of Otta and Nkateko, but they've made it to elite levels. When did you meet acrobatic dancing?
I started at the age of 5. I started dancing, and by the age of 18, I won the championships and I qualified as a coach, and by 21, I opened the studio with my 2 sisters.
Interesting indeed. Are you still dancing or age says no?
The age usually plays a big part, yes. Sometimes last year at the Christmas concert I performed with them, but I will not compete anymore, no, the age.
Yeah, but you can help those that are competing to get podium finishes.
I can help, yes.
Interesting
I
indeed.
will stand on the sideline, yes.
Yeah, what kind of an acrobatic dancer is Otta?
She's amazing. She's so dedicated and willing to try everything and anything that I ask her to do. She's amazing.
Can you be an acrobatic dancer if you're shy?
Yes. When we put them on stage, they do not have a lot of experience, and it helps them a lot with their self-confidence. So yes, we get them there.
And Otta has a big dream of participating at the Olympics one day. So I'm writing off Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles. Perhaps from 2032 we can start talking with Olympics in Brisbane and Olympics afterwards. Definitely. Your thoughts on her journey as an acrobatic dancer?
I think yes, she will go very far. She's because she's so dedicated. She knows there's a lot of practice going in, and yes, I think she will go very far.
There's also Nkateko, who is here with us, who is also an amazing acrobatic dancer. What kind of an acrobatic dancer is she?
Nkateko there's no stop to Nkateko. She is a go-getter, and she traveled with us to Serbia last year, and all to participate with those different cultures. She just fitted in. She was just amazing. She's a true performer.
Interesting indeed. What do you need as the stakeholders that are involved in acrobatic dancing for the sport to make it to another level and get to a point where acrobatic dancing can be like any other sport that is now like a culture in South Africa? Rugby, cricket and football, easy to say, they're like a culture in South Africa. What will it take for acrobatic dancing to compete at that level?
Well, just for our kids, to give them the opportunity to go overseas, we go as a group, so they participate as a group, and there's a lot of funding that we need for that. So yes, we need parents and support and funds.
And funds. Talking about funds, if the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Minister Gayton McKenzie, is listening to this conversation and he's got some budget in the corner of the account somewhere and not certain what to do with it, what would you like to say to him to persuade him otherwise and he can bring it to the way of acrobatic dancing?
Well, we will be happy if he will keep us in his thoughts, and I'm sure he will be able to come along as a cheerleader. He will also be able to come and see the overseas cultures. Yes, so he will have a spot with us on the aeroplane.
Incredible indeed. Coach Zelda, thank you so much for pulling through to Africa at Play. Continue doing the awesome work that you are doing. You are more a nation builder than what you think you are as a coach.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Marvelous. And that's how we wrap up our conversation on all things, our bundle of joy in sport and teenager in sport. We were talking to Otalive and Dudani together with Nkateko Mahlangu. And we also got to speak to the parents, Snovuyo Dudani, together with Linda Mahlangu, as well as Coach Zelda, who's making things happen. She also started dancing at a tender age. And at this age, she's still at it with the tricks that Otta was talking about. Africa at Play.
When you're at the top, you become the conversation. Join the hot conversation with Neto and Neto Chemane on Channel Africa, on Africa at Play. Drop us a voice note on +27 63 406 9126. From football fields to finish lines,
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Neto Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play. The right music all the time. On Channel Africa, the African perspective. From football fields to finish lines,
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Neto Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play.
Menya kofele, menya matalala, menya mashidi, Água rara, água rara, água rara, água rara. E foi quando a corrente parou, chafariz, o cano enferrujou. No cubico do moseque, eu sei que a torneira secou. Água rara, água rara, água rara, água rara. Domingo fui eu que fangondo não havia menha. Eu fiz a sopa com água da muquenha. Água rara, água rara, água rara, água rara. Só pro cano, água foi. Limpo o cano, água vem. Água turva tem também, pra quem não tem água pra beber. Água rara, 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 água rara. Ngibano menya kofele, menya matalala, menya mashidi. Água rara, água rara, água rara, água rara. E fangondo a corrente parou, chafariz, o cano enferrujou. No cubico do moseque, eu sei que a torneira secou. Água rara, água rara, água rara, água rara. Domingo fui eu que fangondo não havia menha. Eu fiz a sopa com água da muquenha. Água rara, água rara, água rara, água rara. Só pro cano, água foi. Limpo o cano, água vem. Água turva tem também, pra quem não tem menha pra beber. Água rara, 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 água rara.
15:39 Central African Time. There's just something special about African music. Aguarara, a song by Bonga, and before that we played you SMH featuring Victory and Tempo. This is Africa at Play. Asteleli siyashaya. Our topic of the day, where Namuchana, our correspondent from Lusaka, Zambia, got to speak to different pundits on our topic, where we're talking about professional football leagues across the African continent, asking why can't the principals of football leagues in Africa sponsor or subsidize these clubs, because of what goes into running a football club does not come cheap at all. In South Africa, we know the Betway Premiership is sponsored or subsidized by the Premier Soccer League, that subsidizes the teams looking after their expenses to ease off that financial pressure. You can drop us a WhatsApp or voice note on the number +27 63 406 9126. Let's go to Zambia.
Africa at Play. Beautifully, happily marrying sports and
Running
music.
a professional football club comes with a heavy price tag in terms of weekly operations, such as traveling to and from various venues in domestic leagues, and even more costs for teams participating in continental tournaments, accommodation and meals while on camp. Top leagues in Africa, like South African Premier League, subsidizes teams to ease off financial pressure for clubs. We are asking, why can't the principals of football leagues and football associations in Africa subsidize clubs clubs monthly across the entire continent. I have with me Isaac Chimpatanga, soccer expert. Isaac, that is our question for this week. We are looking at subsidizing football clubs on the African continent. Why can't the principals of football leagues and football associations in Africa, Isaac, subsidize clubs monthly across the entire continent?
Well, the issue of giving subsidies from the Football Association to teams that compete in domestic leagues across the African continent is a very difficult one to tackle. Remember that football associations themselves are cash-strapped across the African continent. Many of them survive basically because, the government through the Ministry of Sports supports the senior national team and other national teams, depending on which country you're coming from. And of course, a little bit of a grant that comes in from FIFA on an annual basis. And for me, that is a serious concern, because it means that football associations are not doing enough to brand themselves in the market space to attract enough sponsorship. And that for me, I think, is a major concern that many of the football associations across the African continent are grappling with at the moment. Remember that a football association on the African continent doesn't just need to look after the men's and senior women's national teams. They also have junior national teams. In many cases, the under 17, both for men and women, the under 20 for both men and women. In other instances, they have the under 23s to worry about on the men's side. And in other, associations, you even have under 15 or under 11 national team, competing. That is all the financial burden that falls on a football association. So to ask them to stretch even further now to subsidize day-to-day operational costs of, teams that are competing in their domestic league is a little bit far-fetched at this particular moment, because the market is just not there and the football associations are just not doing enough to attract sponsorship. Footballers at the end of the day can only do their best to market the football in that particular country by playing good football, getting results, qualifying to major tournaments. And I'll take point in case for Zambia, where I come from. I mean, the Copper Queens, the Zambia women's senior national team, has qualified to the last 2 Olympics, the World Cup, have been at the last 2, or should I say last 3 now, Women's Africa Cup of Nations, competitions on the African continent. But even after doing all that, it's only recently that a sponsor has come on board for the top division in women's football, domestic women's football in the country, called Eden University. The Football Association and the Zambian Premier League, which runs professional football in the country, have failed to attract even more sponsors from a league that has produced the likes of Barbara Banda, Rachel Kundananji, and many others. So it means that somebody at the Football Association, in terms of the marketing department, is not doing a good enough job, because the players themselves have ensured that, Zambian women's football is taken to the world. Everybody now knows where Zambia comes from, these particular players. But if you actually look on the flip side, has the Football Association done enough to ensure that, the necessary funds come into the league, to ensure that those funds will in turn allow teams to get a little bit more financing from the Zambian Premier League and, of course, FAS, in order for them to nurture players, to scout a little bit better? Because sometimes these clubs can hear that there's a very good player on the other side of the country, but do they have enough resources to send 2 or 3 coaches or a scout to go and watch 2 or 3 matches, lodge them somewhere there in that particular hotel, so that they can make an informed decision whether they're going to acquire that player on loan or outright purchase, and so on and so forth? So these are the issues that are grappling with the Football Association. Not enough being done, but also I think the fact that many people or many corporates out there are not willing to put in a lot of money into African football, and that has been an Achilles, not just this particular year, but in subsequent years that have gone by. Because if you look at the leagues across the African continent, and the ones that really get the lion's share of sponsorship within their domestic leagues, you're probably looking at South Africa and probably North Africa. The rest of the leagues, really, the money that they make in terms of winning prizes at the end of the season is a drop in the ocean in comparison to what they get in terms of the money that they win in terms of prize money at the end of the season for winning the league or whatever is a drop in the ocean to the amount of money that clubs actually put into the day-to-day running of the clubs themselves, the paying of the winning bonuses and so on and so forth across the season. So it's a far-fetched idea to think that the football associations are now going to start subsidizing. It's a good idea, but the money is just not there. Why? Because the market is not just receptive enough for African football, at least on a domestic front, for many of the African countries. But also I think there's a little bit more that the marketing departments within the football associations across the African continent can do to ensure that they brand themselves so that they can attract major sponsorship. And sometimes it's also about football associations going to the corporates a structured way of sponsorship. Sometimes it's not just about the money. Sometimes it's about getting a little bit of money, of course, but leveraging also on the products. So for instance, if if a football association can go and say that the league is going to be sponsored by a specific bank in that particular country, first and foremost, the bank gets incentives from the fact that all the players, all the coaching staff who have bank accounts that will have, their salaries paid in that particular, bank's, accounts. What that means is that, they get a little bit of something out of it, but also they get a little bit of, advertising on the pitch side and so on and so forth, but also pay, the players and the coaches a little bit of an incentive. Also, part and parcel of that, packaging shouldn't come in terms of monetary form, but can come in form of, financial literacy. We've seen many football stars across the African continent, for instance, when they hang up their boots, they become destitute. This is owing to the fact that sometimes there's a gap in terms of the players earning huge salaries, but then not having the ability to manage those finances. So I'm just looking at a way, instead of asking for $2 million from a bank to sponsor the league, why not ask half of that particular amount, $1 million, and the other $1 million comes in terms of what I've just mentioned, things to do like, financial literacy, campaigns, going club to club, teaching these players, how they can manage their finances and how they can invest those finances. But also it must be attractive. Well, this is what I'm trying to say, to sponsors themselves. So this is what I would urge, football associations through their marketing departments to go out there, look for sponsors, but in the long run, not just ask for money, because we literally go with a begging bowl.
The views of Isaac Chipatang. I have also with me Wezi Mazunda. Wezi, we are looking at subsidizing football on the African continent. Why can't the principals of football leagues and football associations on the continent subsidize clubs monthly?
Top leagues in Africa, like South African Premier Soccer League, subsidize teams to ease financial pressure for clubs. Nice, very good development. It's not a wonder to see South Africa competing ably at international competitions like the AFCON, where they finished third, lost to Congo in the third and fourth playoff, which should tell you something. Beat Morocco, that tells you something. I mean, it comes from the local football teams being helped out and having teams from South Africa reaching the latter stages of competitions like the CAF Champions League and Confederations Cup. This tells you, this is the picture. This is why it's very important. You don't even need to go far. I think it's there for you to see. Banyana recently, a former African champion, and the motivation and inspiration comes from there. It may not be the same situation, but I'm just putting a picture of it. It draws inspiration everywhere when it comes from the league. The men's team is doing fine, the women's team also takes a leaf from that. They inspire each other. It's a very good development. So why can't the principals of football leagues and football associations in Africa subsidize clubs monthly across the entire continent? Let's agree, not all countries are the same, not all systems are the same. I like to talk about this. Economies are harsh, it's tough, it's the priorities that you take as a country, it's the infrastructure that you have, it's the system, the plan that's in place. Is the system able to buy into the idea that you have? Are the resources enough? Can they be shared accordingly? Again, this is an aspect of professionalism, of course, accountability and responsibility. Where do you want to see your football? How much money do you want to work from football? I'm looking at the South African model. Their youths as well. I forgot to talk about their youths who are also doing so fine, getting to the latter stages of competitions, winning competitions. They recently won the under 17 COSAFA. Congratulations to them. It's a good model. So it's investing. You are looking at the picture of investing in the clubs. Where do these players come from? They come from this same system, the club system. So it's very good to emulate a model to look into and to see if you're able to. I like to say, if the finances are there in whichever respective country it is, whichever area it is, put the monies in the league, subsidize, help your football. You will not go wrong. You will not go wrong. Sometimes when you sit down, let's look at these teams that are pushing for success. They're already at the top, getting to the top, maintaining their position at the top to be the best that they really are. Let's see how much help they're getting from where they're coming from. It's a good model. It's a very good system. It's very motivating. I think what football needs is motivation at the end of the day. You also look at what's coming out from Confederations Cup, Champions League, you're playing in the finals, missing out in the semifinals, playing in the finals. That tells you something. It's coming from this investment, subsidizing these teams, helping them. It's really tough. One should feel for these clubs. Not all of them get to find sponsors to be able to sponsor them. Or in other countries, it's very difficult to even get sponsors to support your club. Most of the times you have, maybe it's a personal club, someone has to dip into their pocket. So it's quite rough. It's tough. So help is needed, no matter how little. There's no little help really. Any kind of help that you can put in, if the government is able to come to sit down with other sponsors, talk with the fans, put in the little resources that can go in to support the AFAs to help out clubs so that they should be able to subsidize these clubs so that they're able to help out and support the growth and development of a league in the country. Well and good. I think that's going to be good for football development in Africa, and we'll see a lot of successes going out there at the global stage.
Wezi, as always, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us.
Thank you very much.
Wezi Mazunda on our topic today. where we were looking at subsidizing football on the African continent, and we were asking why can't the principals of football leagues and football associations in Africa subsidize clubs monthly across the entire continent. We had Isaac Chipwatanga, soccer expert, and Wezi Mazonda, sports analyst for Channel Africa Sports. Namchana from Zambia.
Ukatili wa kijinsia unaharibu maisha na kutenga jamii. Hutokea nyumbani, shuleni, kazini na mara nyingi kwa ukimya. Lakini hauwezi kuendelea. Ukiona, ongea. Ikiwa unaumia, funguka, kwa sababu kutofanya lolote sio chaguo. Sikiliza vituo vyote 19 vya redio kuanzia Jumatano ya tarehe 23 Julai kwenye mijadala, ushauri, tamthilia, maonyesho ya elimu na mahojiano na wataalamu, manusura, watunga sheria na nchi nzima iliyoathirika na ukatili wa kijinsia kwenye vituo vyako pendwa vya redio. Piga simu 0800 428 ili kuripoti unyanyasaji au kupata msaada. GBV ikomeshwe na wewe. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu na shirika la SABC.
Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
15:52 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are in South Africa. Alternatively, you can connect with us from anywhere in the world online on channelafrica.co.za. Also available at your fingertips on SABC+. We now welcome to the show Namuchana, our correspondent based in Lusaka, Zambia. So Namuchana, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon, Neto, and good afternoon to all our listeners on the African continent and beyond.
Chipolopolo of Zambia, no ticket for the team to US, Mexico and Canada for the upcoming FIFA World Cup in 2026, having failed to qualify during the just concluded FIFA World Cup African qualifiers. Even on match day 10, they couldn't close off the curtain on a high note. What's really is wrong with the Chipolopolo of Zambia?
There's so many factors, Neto, I would say. Maybe we don't know whether it's just lack of talent, whether it's a lack of serious coaching staff. Right now, as I'm talking to you, there is something that is brewing, because a lot of people have demanded that we should have like a commission of inquiry to ascertain really what is the problem with the Zambia national soccer team. You are aware, Neto, that from the time when Zambia won the African Cup of Nations, they haven't been playing good football. Just after the 2013 African Cup of Nations in South Africa, the Zambia national soccer team hasn't been the same. They went almost 3 times back-to-back. They failed to qualify to African Cup of Nations. So there are a lot of factors that have contributed to the downfall of the Zambia national soccer team. So I think one of them, it could be the attitude of the Zambian players, because we can't say that all the coaches from 2013 up to now they have been failing to coach the Zambia national soccer team. So the country right now, Neto, is divided. Others are calling for the dismissal or for the firing of Abraham Grant, who is the head coach for the Zambia national soccer team. Even as I'm talking to you right now, Neto, the government of the Republic of Zambia has suspended funding to the Zambia national soccer team. So that is how serious this issue is. He was the Minister of Sports and the entire government of Zambia. They wrote to the Football Association of Zambia last week asking Football Association of Zambia fans, why should the government continue funding the Zambia national soccer team amid all the poor results? So the situation is tense here. We are hearing a lot of experts. Others are saying maybe it is high time the team is disbanded. The others are calling for proper talent identification. So there are a lot of compounding issues that are surrounding the Zambia national soccer team. So you can't really pinpoint where the problem is, but it's very, very disappointing, Neto, that a team that was a shining star at some point on the African continent is even failing to beat a team like Niger, losing to Niger at home. It is really sad, to say the least, Neto.
15:56 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, we are talking to Namuchana Likezo, our correspondent based in Lusaka, Zambia, talking all things Zambian sport. Namuchana, this issue of the suspension of funding from the government to the Chipolopolo boys, it will come with a bad effect. I hope you are aware, because in no time, the very same team is expected to deliver the goods at the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations slated for Morocco for the 21st of December, concluding in 2026, January the 18th. What are your thoughts on what this could do to the team ahead of this continental spectacle that's still coming up?
Of course, this will send the team into turmoil. As I'm talking to you right now, there's a whirlwind that is just moving around, and it is moving towards Avram Grant, because when you listen to the government officials speak, when you listen to the soccer fans and soccer pundits, it's like everybody is convinced beyond reasonable doubt that Avram Grant is not doing justice to the Zambia national soccer team. But when you look at it critically, Neto, this is not the time that Zambia should fire its head coach, because it is only November in between. Zambia will be taking part at the forthcoming African Cup of Nations in Morocco. And mind you, Neto, the first game of Zambia, they'll be playing the host. So this is not the time to fire the coach, because this is the team that everybody again is expecting to go and perform in Morocco. So we wait to see, while others are claiming to say, look, if we have to fire the coach now, it has to be done in this October. It has to be done now, not later than October, because that time the country won't have the ample time to recruit a new coach, and for that new coach to come and impart his tactics and his system onto the team. So it is a bit confusing for now, but we only hope the Football Association of Zambia will remain put. They'll put their foot down. And personally, Neto, I will tell you that this is not the time to fire the coach. It is better Zambia goes to the African Cup of Nations with the Avram Grant and with limited funding. And I believe somehow that even if the government has pulled out, they're no longer funding the Zambia national soccer team. I'm very positive in my heart that the first executive, they will go out there to look for funds from the cooperating partners out there, the corporate world, and of course maybe from the bodies like FIFA. They're able to get money from there, because we saw there was a time, Neto, that the government also behaved in the same way. FIFA came to the aid of the Football Association of Zambia. So we only hope that this won't affect their performance as they go to the African Cup of Nations. But very sad scenario that we are having here. So I would rather I have a situation where the Zambia national soccer team is funded. It goes to the African Cup of Nations, gets booted out in the first round. Then after that, then the country should have the same conversation. What do we do next? Do we maintain the same team, or do we disband it? Do we keep this coach, or do we fire him? Do we go again foreign, or we hire a local coach? These are conversations that the country should be having after the African Cup of Nations, not now. But the situation here, Neto, is very tense. We don't even know where it is going. And right now, I will tell you that the effect of the government suspending funding as the Football Association of Zambia. Yesterday, the Football Association of Zambia President, Mr. Keith Mweba, told this country that the friendly matches that he had organized, the 3 friendly matches that he had organized for the under-17 women national soccer team, they were supposed to have played Morocco. Those friendly matches have been cancelled due to the fact that he was claiming yesterday to say somebody used his name. We don't know that person. He never revealed the name of that person who masqueraded to be the first boss and went to the Moroccan FA and cancelled the 3 friendly matches that the under-17 women Zambia national soccer team they're supposed to have played. A lot of things are happening here. It is merry-go-round. We don't even know where to start from, Neto. But we all hope after the African Cup of Nations, we are going to have a big endeavor or a very big meeting where all stakeholders should be able to sit down to discuss the way forward as regards to the Zambia national soccer team. But otherwise, it is not even a situation that is pleasing Neto. It is so disgusting to the soccer fans. And after that loss to Niger, everybody is really calling for the disbandment of this team. But I only hope that the government will have its second thoughts and start funding the Sporoporo boys, because it is only next month, Neto, they're headed to Morocco, and that is a big tournament. You can't just go to African Cup of Nations with the mind of losing.
16:02 Central African Time. That's the voice of Namuchana Likezo, our correspondent from Lusaka, Zambia. And that's how we say goodbye to the second hour of Africa at Play, as we've officially entered the third and final hour. We're talking all things Zambian sport. Earlier on, we got to speak to our bundle of joy in sport, Otalive Ndudane, together with our teenager in sport, that is Nkateko Mahlangu. And these are acrobatic dancers and gymnasts that are doing wonders out there with big dreams to make it to the Olympics one day. Let's continue our conversation with Namuchana Likezo. So Namuchana, you got to speak to the pundits about our topic of the day, a very interesting one where we're asking the big question: why can't the football principals in different African countries and the league principals subsidize the football professional clubs because of just how expensive and costly it is to run a professional football club? We've got a voice note from Eric Lechwele. Let's find out what are his thoughts, and we can get Namuchana to react.
Good afternoon, Africa at Play. I'm Eric from Midrand. I think if you look at one of the several factors that contribute to the challenges of subsidizing football clubs across Africa monthly, number one is financial constraints. Football leagues and associations in Africa often face financial limitations, making it difficult to provide consistent monthly subsidies to clubs. Revenue streams from broadcasting rights, sponsorships, and ticket sales might be limited or irregular. And then one of the things is that variability in league structures. African football leagues vary significantly in terms of structure, popularity, and financial health. This diversity makes it challenging to implement uniform subsidy system across the continent. Distribution challenges. Disbursing funds to clubs across different countries can be complex due to varying financial regulations, currency, and banking systems. Sustainability concerns. Subsidies need to be sustainable in long term. Relying on external funding or inconsistent revenue sources can create uncertainty for clubs. Governance and transparency. Effective governance and transparent financial management are crucial for subsidy distribution. Ensuring accountability and fair allocation of funds can be a hurdle. Prioritization of funds. Leagues association might prioritize other areas like infrastructure development, youth programs, or national team support over club subsidies. CAF and FIFA regulations. Continental and global football governing bodies have rules and regulations that might influence how funds are managed and distributed. Nice show.
Comprehensive thoughts indeed from Eric Lechweleng, a football commentator doing commentary in his native language of Setswana on our sister station Motsweding FM. Setswana is one of the 11 official languages spoken in South Africa. So Namuchana, your reaction?
Yeah, though I could hardly hear what you were saying, but just to pick from what Eric was saying and what I got from him, I think there are a lot of factors affecting a lot of African FAs on the African continent. They can't manage to support football clubs due to various reasons. But the major reason, Neto, it is financial issues. Look, we are talking about the Football Association of Zambia now, struggling to fund the Zambia national soccer team. So where are they going to get the money for them to subsidize clubs? Because even right now, as I'm talking to you, we all know that the balance sheet of the Football Association of Zambia isn't all that good. There are huge debts that run into millions, and for anybody to expect them to subsidize the clubs, I think it would be asking too much. But with good planning, Neto, it can be done. And one of the issues that I think can be looked at seriously, it is for the football FAs to find sponsors, more especially to find the money from TV rights. How much money are they generating from TV rights? Because it is from TV rights that clubs can be given something. So I'll tell you, like here in Zambia, we were told that the Football Association of Zambia had signed a contract with a certain media outlet for the 2025-2026 season for the broadcast rights. And we were told the deal was about $10 million. So the issue is that $10 million enough to subsidize all the clubs? I don't think so. Because like here in Zambia, to run a football club on a weekly basis, it is not a joke, Neto. The last time I was asking, I was told they spend over $1 million plus just to move from one town to the other to fulfill their fixtures, allowances, fuel, and that kind of stuff. But Africa has a lot of problems, and somehow, much as the government, Neto, would love to help football FAs to assist the football clubs. You know, the governments, they have a lot of other priorities that they are looking at, like education, like health, like agriculture. So a lot of countries, they are not all that financially sound on the African continent, let alone for them to have even money to spend on their football FAs and for the football FAs to get the same money and subsidize various clubs. It is something that will take a long time. It is not insurmountable. But if we put our heads together, it can be done, because right now, SAFA is doing that. I'm sure other African FAs, they can follow suit and learn from what South Africa has done and how they did it. It is all about the economy of each and every country, because South Africa is one of the wealthy countries on the African continent. It is just like Nigeria. So you are talking of countries like Zambia or Malawi or maybe DRC, or these countries that we call third world countries. Do they have the money? Okay? How are their economies doing? So all those are factors that come into play, Neto. So it is so difficult to subsidize clubs in the current economic situation that we have on the African continent.
That's the voice of Namuchana, our correspondent based in Lusaka, Zambia, talking all things Zambian sport. Mr. Namuchana, please just stay on the line. We take a short break. When we come back, we'll find out what are the burning issues in Zambian sport before we say goodbye to Namuchana.
Africa Conhece o Ntivani?
Claro que sou eu.
Ntivani é o amante da música de corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.
Ele aprecia todos os tipos de melodias e passa os seus dias a ouvir a Channel África. Adivinha só, a Channel África quer ajudar o Ntivani e os amantes da música em todo o lado a descobrir ainda mais música incrível. Por isso, a Channel África está a convocar artistas africanos a submeterem as suas músicas. Músicos, lembrem-se de nos dar todas as informações relevantes no music@channelafrica.co.za. As submissões são a vossa oportunidade de ser ouvidos, mas não garantem inclusão na lista. Todas as submissões serão cuidadosamente analisadas para verificar se cumprem os requisitos da nossa estação. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Africa at Play with Neto, Neto Chemane.
16:11 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. We are wrapping up a conversation with our Lusaka-based correspondent, Namuchana Likezo. So, Namuchana, burning issues in Zambian sport before we say goodbye?
Yeah, for now, apart from the issues to do with the Zambia national soccer team, that hasn't settled well with a lot of soccer fans. Maybe we can only talk about this United Football Club that are currently playing Jwaneng, a Galaxy from Botswana in the Cup for Confederations Cup. And Neto, you don't believe it, with their massive experience when it comes to African football, just called at halftime, they are 2-0. With the Galaxy from Botswana, and at some point, actually, they were down by 2-1, and this score was awarded a penalty in the 45th minute to equalize. So otherwise, this is what is happening here. And the Zambian representative in the CAF Champions League, and this is Power Dynamos, as I'm talking to you right now, Neto, they are in Uganda, where they're expected to take on the Vipers of that country, and the second leg will be expected to be played at the Levi Emwanawasa Stadium. But Vesco has an uphill battle because they've allowed the Jwaneng Galaxy of Botswana to score 2 goals in Ndola, and the match is being played at the Levi Emwanawasa Stadium. So this is what is happening, and very sad state of affairs that a team of that stature like Vesco can fail to beat the Jwaneng Galaxy of Botswana. So Neto, we were talking about the performance of the Zambian national soccer team. So you can see that even on the club level, the Zambian teams are still struggling. So we only wish a powerful Power Dynamos all the best as they take on Vipers of Uganda in the CAF Champions League.
Namuchana, our correspondent from Lusaka, Zambia. So, Namuchana, thank you so much for that update. Have a good afternoon further.
Thank you so much, Neto, and thank you for having me. Merci beaucoup. Now, this is the time for throat acrobatics.
Throat acrobatics, I call him Mr. Namuchana's name. Have a good time, my good sir. 16:14 Central African Time. We still have some voice notes. Let's take one from Bongani Juma, a football commentator in the language they say is romantic, Xitsonga.
Good afternoon, Neto and the listeners. This is Bongani Chuma from Lenasia. Neto, the issue of subsidizing teams across the African continent, for me, it boils down to the issues of the structures and the bodies that are controlling football in different countries. If you don't have clean governance in those structures, you're going to have issues of monies coming through to sponsor the league, but not filtering down to the active role players. That makes the league to be vibrant, that makes the league to be existent, that makes the football to be recognized in that particular country. So first, let's deal with the clean governance in different structures. Then you will see proper things being done in different, in different associations. Thank you, Neto.
Clean governance in different structures of football. Those are the words of Bongani Juma, a renowned football commentator for our sister station, Mongana Lonene FM. Let's now take another voice note from Apiwengwenya.
Hi, Africa Play. This is Apiwengwenya. I think it really is unfair to compare big leagues to smaller nations. If they are financially able to subsidize, I'm sure they would. We should also take into consideration the economy of the country, and in terms of private sponsorships, are they drawing, your private sponsors such as they do in the South African League? Are the games televised? What are the big private companies that are there? Because every sporting code is also probably targeting those private companies. And another issue with regards to the smaller African nations is the fact that their national team might not also be doing so well. So their league might not be as financially viable for sponsors to actually sponsor it. So it won't draw. So clubs won't draw the likes of your Adidas to sponsor a kit, or Puma, or Ombre, etc. So unfortunately, if they're not financially viable for sponsors, then football associations won't also be able to sponsor because they themselves don't have the financial capacity to do so. Unfortunately, unlike your European clubs, especially your large ones, where their kit sales, their T-shirt sales, year on year, might make so much more money than any South African club can ever wish for. Out of all their sponsorships, a kit or a jersey sale of like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United, might surpass any income that your likes of Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, etc. get in South Africa. So it has to do with the economy of the country, because then the people are able to feed that money back into the clubs in terms of jersey sales, etc. And yeah.
Thank you to Apiwengwenya for sharing her views with us. Let's take one more voice note from Yamkela Sifingo, who is a sport journalist and a journalism lecturer.
Good afternoon to you, Neto, and good afternoon to the listeners of Africa at Play. This is Yamkela Sifingo. Well, I think that it depends on the financial situation, because if we were to make an example, like in Europe, the big structures and principles of football actually get large amounts of money injected. Hence, it makes it easy for them to be able to subsidize clubs. But when it comes to the African context, we don't get as much as they would get abroad. So it makes it a bit difficult for our principals of the football leagues to be able to subsidize football associations in Africa. Let's say, for an example, I remember in a sports talk show, a goalkeeper who actually plays here in South Africa from Nigeria said that in Nigeria it is almost compulsory for all soccer players to wish and look for opportunities that send them abroad because of financial related matters in terms of getting a payment. They get paid well when they go to Europe, but in comparison to the South African context, it's not really a priority or compulsory for South African footballers to look for opportunities going abroad, because they get paid fairly or well off within the league. The sponsorship opportunities that are available for soccer players actually inject a lot of money to those individuals. So in comparison to what they would get paid in Europe, there's not too much of a gap, because even if they were to relocate and go to Europe, there's issues of accommodation and everything that they need to pay for. So that legal gap of a difference in terms of payment would actually go into one's ability to be able to live comfortably. Hence, it's not really a priority for South African players to go abroad. So I think it's a multifaceted type of thing. There's a lot of contributing factors that can create difficulty for the principals of the football leagues and football associations in Africa to be able to subsidize clubs monthly,
Are you fluent in French, Chinyanja, Portuguese, and Kiswahili? Are you passionate about radio? And are you looking to work in South Africa? Do you have papers that qualify you to work in South Africa? In that case, we might have an opportunity for you to work for Channel Africa. Send us your CV and demo at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Remember, if you don't hear from us within 14 days, it means you have not made it or you have not been selected. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
It is 16:21 Central African Time. You are still tuned in to Africa at Play, Africa's #1. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome. Let's go together to West Africa and land in Lagos, Nigeria, where our correspondent Tony Tonero Bani is standing by to fuel us up with the latest in Nigerian sport.
India is set to host the centenary Commonwealth Games in 2030, the second time in 20 years that the event will have been held in the world's most populous nation. The city of Ahmedabad in the west of the country has been chosen ahead of Abuja in Nigeria by an evaluation commission from governing body Commonwealth Sports. And the decision to hold the games there in 5 years' time is now expected to be ratified at the Organization's General Assembly in Glasgow on 26th November. Ahmedabad can boast the Narendra Modi Stadium, the largest in the world, with a capacity of 132,000, which hosted the Cricket World Cup final in 2023. The city has a population in excess of 5 million people and has even been suggested as a potential bidder to host a future Olympic Games. We see the 2030 Games as a powerful opportunity to inspire our youth, strengthen international partnerships, and contribute to a shared future across the Commonwealth, said Dr. P.T. Osha, President of the Commonwealth Games Association, India. The Games first visited India in 2010 when Delhi hosted. It is the second time Abuja has missed out on staging the Commonwealth, having been overlooked for the 2014 edition in favor of Glasgow. And it also means Africa's way to hold the event for a first time will continue. And now let's go into the drama and for everything that happened for the last game against the World Cup qualifiers. Let's tell you that the Nigeria Football Federation is set for a major financial boost following the impressive run of the Super Eagles in the just concluded 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Nigeria finished second in Group C behind South Africa with 17 points after 10 matches, a record that guarantees a significant payout from World Football's governing body. According to FIFA, each victory in the World Cup playoffs is valued at $1.938 million, while a draw attracts $1.008 million. The Super Eagles ended their campaign with 5 wins, 4 draws, and 1 loss, placing them among the top performing teams on the continent. In addition, FIFA confirmed that every African nation that qualifies for the 2026 World Cup will receive a massive $9.6 million participation bonus. If Super Eagles win all 4 matches in the playoffs, 2 in Africa World Cup playoffs in Morocco, and another 2 games in the FIFA Intercontinental playoffs in Mexico in March 2026, and qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, the Nigeria Football Federation will pocket the total sum of $17.152 billion, equivalent of 25,171,074,000 naira 560, with Nigeria set to feature in the upcoming playoffs for the tournament, could see the NFF pocket an even bigger financial windfall than those who have already picked the ticket. A successful playoff campaign would not only return the Super Eagles to the global stage, but also ensure another lucrative payout from FIFA's prize pool. Coach Richel was full of admiration for his players following their emphatic 4-0 win over Benin Republic in Uyo on Tuesday, describing Victor Osimhen as the best striker in the world after the fourth hat-trick sealed the Super Eagles' place in the CAF playoff tournament for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. A Victor Osimhen hat-trick and a thunderous strike from substitute Frank Onyeka ensured a resounding win for the three-time African champions at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. The result means Nigeria will now compete in a 4 playoff in Morocco next month for a chance to reach the intercontinental stage of qualification. Speaking after the game, Chell said he was full of admiration for the commitment and resilience his players showed under the pressure of a must-win encounter. "I'm very proud of my players," he said. "They deserve this game because it was not easy with a new coach and a new philosophy to adapt to. So I'm just happy for my players. They played a great game 2 hours ago, and they also played a great game 3 days ago." The coach was also full of praise for Victor Osimhen, who scored 3 times to extend his international tally to 29 goals in 4 appearances, putting him on course to overtake Nigeria's all-time top scorer, the late Rashidi Yekini. Chell described the ex-Napoli striker as the best striker in the world, a statement that drew applause from the post-match media room. "I love him. He's the best striker in the world, but I'm proud of all the players because everybody brought something to this team. I'm especially proud of my captain because he scored a great penalty in the last match. They all gave everything," Chell said. Chell, who took charge in the team in the middle of the qualification campaign, admitted that the victory was only the beginning of a long road to redemption for the Super Eagles. He said the group was aware of the challenges ahead as they turned their focus to Morocco, saying, "This is not finished. This is the beginning. It will be very, very difficult. Now we go to Morocco and we have a lot of work to do." Eric Chell speaks.
So proud of my players that deserve this game because it was not easy with a new coach, with a new philosophy. They are ready faster. So now we go to Morocco. This is not finished. This is the beginning. It will be very, very, very difficult. I'm just happy for my players. They played a great game. They played a great game 3 days ago. Like I said before, the last conference press, thanks God because you are here. And I'm happy for the fans because they bring us the victory. They start to help us, to push us to take this victory. And the players played a very great game, especially the best striker in the world. All the players, they gave everything. For me, for sure, they are my champions. I'm happy, I'm very happy for this player. The football is like that. Sometimes you do a mistake, you lost, but they like the country, Nigeria, and they give every time, they give everything.
Ex-international Garba Lawal also congratulated the team for their fighting spirit, but warned them that it will be a top mountain at the playoffs. Garba Lawal speaks.
Themselves into this situation. We thank Almighty Allah for the victory. We secure the playoff, which is good for us. And the journey has just begun. Because after we finish the semi-final, then we have to wait for maybe the Asian Globe or whatever. I don't know. But it's going to be a tough mountain to climb. I'm not afraid if those guys can play what they did. I don't see anything, including the Asians. I don't see anything beating up. If they can do what they did there with the resilience and the determination and the composure and good organization, they can do the same as yesterday as you know countries toughen us from going to the World Cup. It's going to be very tough now because it's a playoff. And there's no more complacency.
While Nigerians are celebrating, Benin Cheetahs coach Neto has reminded fans that he was the first to hand Victor Osimhen a call-up to the Super Eagles, recalling that the prolific striker was just 17 years old at the time. After being written off by almost everyone last month, Nigeria have reignited their hopes of qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup through the playoffs, following an emphatic 4-0 victory over our side in Uyo. Osimhen was the standout performer. Neto a sensational hat-trick. He stored in national colors to inspire the Super Eagles to a convincing win that lifted them to second place in the group standings with 17 points accumulated. Barely 4 months shy of his 18th birthday, the 2015 FIFA Under-17 World Cup Golden Boot winner earned his first call-up to the Super Eagles 23-man squad for an Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Tanzania in September 2016. However, the young striker did not make the final 18-man match day squad as then coach Raw opted for more experienced forwards, including Odion Eyalo, Kelechi Iheanacho, Moses Simon, Brown Ideye, Ahmed Musa, and Victor Moses. Speaking to reporters, Raw said they started with a goal in the 3rd minute. I don't know whether it's offside or not. We had to build a new defense because of the yellow cards. We tried, but when you have such a good player like Osimhen, I remember when I brought Osimhen in the team, he was 17 here in our first game against Tanzania, and he was already in our selection. So I'm very happy to see him like that, but I'm not happy he did it against me. But I hope he can do it in the playoffs for your country, which I love. Today, we are a little bit disappointed because the dream to go to the World Cup is finished. Raw admitted that the result was a painful one for the team and the nation, as they had hoped to make history by reaching the World Cup for the first time. There was a big disappointment because we wanted to go to the World Cup with our country, Benin, for the first time in history. We could not. We had to win here. To win in Nigeria, when Nigeria is also playing for the playoffs, it's something very difficult, especially if you miss 2 suspended players from the last game in Rwanda and 3 injured players we had from September games. We don't have enough high-level players. We have some players who are playing in the 5th division in France, but I'm very proud of my team. Captain Williams Truce Ekong has said that the Super Eagles will give the CAF playoff tournament for the 2026 FIFA World Cup in Morocco next month their very best shot as the group continues to quietly delight in the 4-0 win over Benin Republic in Uyo that sent Nigeria to the playoff tournament, which precedes the Intercontinental playoffs scheduled for Mexico in March next year. We are quite happy to have that opportunity. It's a long route, but it is a route after all. We would have loved to get an automatic ticket, but it didn't happen, and we take what we have. For us, we will remain strong and tough and ready to confront every challenge on our way as we search for the ticket for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. It was a wonderful team effort. Everyone contributed. Each person played their part. If the other match had gone in favor, we would be with the automatic ticket now. But that's life. You take what you get and run with it and make the best of it. Truce Ekong speaks.
And they took their responsibility, and we have seen that throughout these qualifiers. I think one other thing that I want to add to that is that it's not good, I think, when players get criticised in the way that they have been done, because I think we try to single out players too often. I think everyone is trying. I think you can come down hard for someone if they're not trying. It's not easy to wear this shirt. It's very heavy. It's not easy to perform and get the results to make everyone happy, but we're all trying, and sometimes that's not good enough. But one thing that we can always say about this team is that we always give everything, and if we can, then we want to make the difference. So there was also
in the CAF playoffs, Nigeria will take on Gabon's Palancas Negras in a first semi-final on Thursday, 13th November, with Cameroon taking on Democratic Republic of Congo in the second semi-final on Friday, 14th November. The two winners clash on Sunday, 16th November, in the final, with the winner to proceed to the Intercontinental playoff scheduled for the Mexican cities of Guadalajara and Monterrey in March next year. At the International Playoff Tournament, 6 teams will battle for 2 tickets. The teams are Africa's winner, Bolivia, New Caledonia, winner of Asian playoff between Iraq and the United Arab Emirates, and 2 of Jamaica, Costa Rica, and Panama. Former Super Eagles striker Duke Udi says that Morocco's semi-final finish at the 2022 World Cup should now be the minimum benchmark for African teams going to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Any African country that goes to the World Cup must aim to surpass Morocco's achievement. Getting to the final or winning it should be the target. We are long overdue. Udi praised South Africa for their performance in the qualifiers, noting the importance of coaching and tactical preparation. South Africa played a good football. They were tactically and mentally sound. They don't have big names, but they were the best team and deserved to win their group. The former Super Eagles player congratulated South Africa's Bafana on securing automatic qualification for the World Cup, describing the achievement as well deserved. would acknowledge that South Africa played the best brand of football throughout the qualifiers, showing tactical discipline and unity, qualities he said Nigeria must urgently rediscover. Let's be honest, South Africa deserved their qualification, Udi said. They played with structure, teamwork, and consistency. You could see a clear plan in every game, and that's what football is all about. Not many teams could have overcome the point deductions and still qualify for the World Cup. Big ups to them, he said. Duke Udi speaks.
The World Cup, any country that goes to the World Cup now has to surpass the achievement of Morocco. The achievement of Morocco is the semi-final. They got to the semi-final. So anybody that wants to do anything now that is reasonable, that is commendable, or anything that we can chat about is for you to get to the final or win the World Cup. If you get to the semi-final, it's just the same record again. Okay, fine. Somebody has gone there before, but so now it's not a target. If you don't get to the semi-final, or you don't get to or win the third place, or you get to the final, it's not an achievement again. So for any team that is going, it's not just to qualify. It's not just to qualify. It's for us to get to the final or we win the World Cup. We are overdue for the World Cup. I mean, if you look at the achievement of African nations in the World Cup, it's been a long time when we've got to at least make an impact. And making an impact is winning the World Cup. And I see African countries, any country in Africa now with the development in African football, especially Morocco and so, at least we can get to the final and win the World Cup.
Also, former captain of the Super Eagles, Mikel Obi, agreed that time has come for African teams to pull their weight in the World Cup. African players are doing well everywhere they go. Take the EPL, for instance. African players have shown and measured with the rest of players. It's time they demonstrate same ability at the world stage and win the World Cup. Mikel Obi speaks.
Sorted out the few things that need to be put in place before we can get there. The talent is there. The players are there. The players are not the issue. We've seen it. Players from Africa coming to the Premier League, what we've contributed to the Premier League, the impact of African players in the Premier League. You can see it. We have the talent. But then to go on and win the World Cup, it starts from the top. The facilities, everything needs to run properly. Our players now, they go by the national team. But yes, we are close. Maybe next year.
Gabonese captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has issued a stern warning to Nigeria Super Eagles ahead of their crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup playoff clash. Aubameyang, who played a key role in helping the Panthers secure a playoff spot, expressed his team's strong determination to qualify for the global showcase. Both teams are set to face off in the first leg of the CAF playoffs scheduled to take place in Morocco. The former Arsenal and Barcelona striker emphasized his hunger and motivation to make it to the World Cup, a feat Gabon has never achieved. We want to go to the World Cup, and to get there, we have to win games, Aubameyang said. I am very motivated, and when you have the chance to go to the World Cup, you have to be even more motivated. The 36-year-old veteran forward will be looking to inspire his teammates to make history, but they will face a formidable challenge in the Super Eagles, who are seeking to return to the world stage after missing the 2022 edition in Qatar. And before we go, let's tell you that Semi Ajayi will miss the Super Eagles 2026 FIFA World Cup playoff clash with the Panthers of Gabon due to suspension. The centre-back picked up his second booking in the qualifying series against the Cheetahs of Benin Republic at the Goswell at Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo. Ajayi was booked for the first time in the qualifiers on match day 1 against Lesotho. The Hull City defender scored Nigeria's only goal in the 1-1 draw. The 31-year-old will, however, be available for selection should Nigeria make it to the final of the playoffs. Nigeria and Gabon will clash in the semi-final on Thursday, 13th November, while Cameroon and the Democratic Republic of Congo will also do battle in the last 4 ties. And that's the size of sports roundup in Nigeria. For Channel Africa Sports, Tony Vani reporting.
África. Conhece o Ntivani?
Claro que sou eu.
Ntivani é o amante da música de corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.
Ele aprecia todos os tipos de melodias e passa os seus dias a ouvir a Channel Africa. Okay. Adivinha só, a Channel Africa quer ajudar o Ntivani e os amantes da música música em todo o lado a descobrir ainda mais música incrível. Por isso, a Channel África está a convocar artistas africanos a submeterem as suas músicas. Músicos, lembrem-se de nos dar todas as informações relevantes no music@channelafrica.co.za. As submissões são a vossa oportunidade de ser ouvidos, mas não garantem inclusão na lista. Todas as submissões serão cuidadosamente analisadas para verificar se cumprem os requisitos da nossa estação. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Africa at Play with Neto, Neto Chemane.
16:40 Central African Time. You are still tuned in to Africa at Play. This is Channel Africa from an African perspective. We are broadcasting to the world in 5 languages, in Chinyanja, English, Kiswahili, Portuguese, and French. And talking about French, there's an exciting program coming your way, Mix Vibration, with my brother Jolene Nsungu. Bonjour.
Bonjour Neto, eh bien Mix Vibration va commencer à partir des 17h, juste comme d'habitude. Et aujourd'hui, nous vous apportons de la très bonne musique. Nous aurons d'ailleurs un invité sur place ici dans ces studios. Il s'agit bien sûr de Josué Moukania qui lui va nous apporter de la bonne musique et va certainement chanter en live pour faire du bien à tous nos invités et à tous ceux qui nous suivent partout dans le monde et partout en Afrique. Merci.
Marvelous. You can look forward to an exciting edition of Mix Vibration coming up just after Africa at Play. For now, let's take a flight to East Africa and land in Kampala, Uganda for the latest in Ugandan sport with our correspondent, Sam Mpoza.
The Uganda under-17 boys football team continue to prepare ahead of their maiden appearance at the FIFA World Cup. The team has so far played 2 local build-up games in Kampala, and head coach Brian Senyondo believes the boys are doing well.
We have worked upon a lot of things that we thought the boys needed. Today we've won 2-0. The result is good, but what is more important is how we play the performance. Did we see what we want to see from the boys? Yes. Did they show what has been in training? Yes. I believe it's a step ahead in our preparations. So we are very happy with the performance.
Now let's talk club football, because Zambia's Power Dynamos Football Club arrived in Uganda on Thursday morning ahead of Sunday's Africa Champions League encounter against Uganda's champions Vipers Sports Club. The game that comes at the time when Vipers are boycotting playing in the Uganda Premier League due to their disagreement with the new playing format goes down into history as the only club game in Uganda whose tickets were sold out 4 days before match day. One of the club directors, Haruna Chobe, tells us the fans are making a statement to the federation that they are behind Vipers' protest.
We are amidst challenges as a club and even football of Uganda at large. As you are aware, currently, there are new reforms which were introduced, but as Vipers, we said no to the reforms until when what we highlighted within the communication we made to the federation are met, but up to now, nothing has been done. So we remain where we were during the time we presented our statement of not playing this new format. So that alone is a challenge to us as a club, because the other 15 are all playing, but for us, we don't care. We are Vipers, we are a member of the federation, and we know our values as a club, so we will stop at nothing until when justice prevails. So under the circumstances, it's when this game was arrived, and we have to be playing it. But in the good thing or the positive thing about it, you can see all fans of Ugandan clubs, all Ugandan football lovers are behind us, for the mere fact that they are also seeing these new reforms the way Vipers saw them. So that alone has kind of made us to gain some kind of mileage during this time, and we believe On Sunday, it will be a capacity crowd because these fans want to make another statement that we are in for this format. We are in for Vipers because they have stood strong to resist against bad reforms, which will put our game in a kind of a turmoil, because when you look at the whole new reforms, the only good thing about them is the money involved. But when you dig deeper, there is nothing good for the game.
Chobe also believes Power Dynamos are a team with pedigree, but Vipers will overcome them.
The team we are meeting is a respected team on the continent. They have that pedigree, which is quite very visible, because you are aware they won the Africa Cup Winners' Cup in 1991. So having been champions on the continent is no mean feat. In that regard, we are not taking them lightly, so we'll do whatever it takes to see that we win this first leg.
Power Dynamos head coach Oswald Mutapa says his opponents have quality, but he will take victory back to Lusaka.
We have watched them, a very good side going forward, a balanced side with good quality players. But we also have a team that is able to play, and the more reason we are here, and we are trying and get a positive result as possible. What we need to do, I think we have done. We have -2 sessions to the main game. We know it will be a tough game, but we have come here for the result of the game. We need to get a positive result that will take us to the second half of the game. We are playing the first half here, so we need to play the second half in Zambia. So we need a sound and positive result as we go into the second half.
And that is all we had time for from Kampala. My name is Sam Mpoza. Kwaheri.
Africa at Play. Beautifully, happily marrying sports and music.
16:46 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play as we are getting closer to saying our goodbye. But before we do that, let's touch base with Tony Tonero Ubani, our correspondent based in the beautiful city of Lagos in West Africa in Nigeria. So Ubani, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play. It looks like we've lost that line from West Africa in Lagos, Nigeria, with Tony Tonero Ubani, while our legendary producer Andisiwe Fagimalu Mali is trying to re-establish that line. Let's update you with all things different sporting codes happening globally and on the African continent. Yesterday, Sri Lanka women went down to South Africa women in the ongoing 2025 Women's ICC Cricket World Cup, the ODI version, where South Africa won by 10 wickets with 31 balls left due to the DLS method. And today it is a match between Pakistan women and New Zealand women, and that match has been delayed because of the rain interruption. Tomorrow it is India women taking on England women, and that match is happening at 11:30 Central African Time. Let's go to the Premier League and find out how's action looking in the Premier League. There is a match between Sunderland and Wolverhampton Wanderers. Sunderland leading Wolverhampton Wanderers by 1-0. And there's also a match that took place earlier when Nottingham Forest played against Chelsea, a match that produced a red card for the Blues, and Chelsea triumphed comfortably by 3-1. Sunderland still leading after 45 minutes of football has been played. It is bad news for Wolverhampton Wanderers, who find themselves in the basement of the Premier League. Burnley is up against Leeds United, and Burnley is leading by 1-0, while Crystal Palace is trailing by 2-0 against AFC Bournemouth, and that match has 45 minutes of play so far. It will be heading to half-time any moment. Brighton and Hove Albion, also known as Brighton, leading Newcastle, the black and white, by 1-0. Manchester City and Everton are on a halftime break on a 0-0 draw, and there's still a match you can expect later on in the Premier League between Fulham and Arsenal. In the Betway Premiership, it is the provincial derby where Usutu is up against Durban City, and that match has played for 60 minutes. It's still a 0-0 draw. Let's take you to the live action.
Dumela does have an assist so far in this campaign. Loud and proud in the way of their support for Amazulu. Shaba on the left side of your picture.
Still 0-0 between Amazulu FC and Durban City. It's still 0-0 draws. Piwa Chabalala, a man who scored the opening match during the FIFA World Cup against Mexico 15 years ago, is also part of the dignitaries in this provincial derby that is happening at Teguine in Durban. There's also a match coming up at 17:30 between Makesi FC and the Rockets TS Galaxy, and that match is expected to also produce fireworks. We've got Tony Robani, our correspondent from Lagos, Nigeria, back on the line. So, Obani, a very warm welcome and good afternoon to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon, the Velvet Voice. I heard you talking about fireworks, and indeed, we all saw fireworks for those at the last day, very dramatic day of the World Cup qualifiers all over Africa.
So what are the people saying in Nigeria? Are they saying the Super Eagles made Bafana a favor by beating Benin by 4-0? Or they also understand they needed to win to at least get to the 4 teams playoff, which will be kicking off this November, where the Super Eagles alongside DR Congo as well as Gabon and the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon will fight it all for that one important spot to complete 10 African nations.
Yeah, so there was nothing like a favor. There was nobody did anybody any favor. Nobody. You don't owe or you don't have any thanks to give to anybody for doing a favor to you, because almost all the teams, they were fighting for their own survival, not for to favor anything. That's exactly how it panned out. Nigeria was indeed, they needed a win for them to make it through to the playoffs, and of course Benin Republic, we all knew, needed a win for them to overturn that table, overrun the table. And indeed, South Africa equally needed a win. So I think they played the best, and I think football was the best. And I think the eyes of the world saw what African players can do. And indeed, there was no favor granted anybody. I think that today, the Super Eagles left their matches very late, and indeed, all Nigerians just concluded that if they had been playing like this, I don't think they have gotten themselves into the problem they saw themselves in. And indeed, I think that credit must be given to the Bafana. It's not everything that will definitely come back. The emotional trauma of removing 3 points, in a very dramatic group stage like that is something that is overwhelming. But I must say, that Bafana, came back and, of course, in style, got that playoff, got the qualification. I think credit should be given to them. More so to the fact that if you look at the Bafana team, they do not have the growth of stars like their Nigerian counterparts. But that also speaks volumes about the league in South Africa, and that's also a very huge advantage of African football. That players playing in the league could muster that energy and tenacity, for them to withhold all the pressure and then end up topping the group. Nobody expected that South Africa, even without a point deduction, will at the end, top that group. Credit must go to them, Neto, for that.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Obani. Let's also talk about Remo Stars of Nigeria, who are taking on South Africa's Mamelodi Sundowns. Is it one of those David versus Goliath conversations?
Absolutely, Neto. You just, you got it right there. And indeed, if you look at everything, I think Mamelodi Sundowns are, the Goliath in this team. And, of course, it takes us back, to remember 2 decades after their last visit ended in defeat. the Melody Sundowns will return to Abeokuta, tomorrow to face Remo Stars in the first leg of the second round clash of CAF Champions League, the Africa's Premier Interclub competition. The encounter sets up a battle with sharply contrasting players and experience. For Remo Stars, they mark their first ever appearance in the second round of any continental competition. For Melody Sundowns, it is another step in their quest to reassert dominance on the continent as former African champions and runners-up in last season's edition. The Melody Sundowns are 15-time South African League champions and obviously the country's most successful club. In many ways, tomorrow's game extends the long-standing football rivalry between Nigeria and South Africa. While the Super Eagles hold the upper hand in national team contest, South Africa's strength at club level, especially through Sundowns, tells a different story. Indeed, the recent World Cup qualifying triumph over Rwanda, which secured South Africa ticket to the 2026 finals, underlined the domestic foundation of their success. All 11 Bafana starters were home-based with 5 players, including captain and goalkeeper Rowan Williams, coming from the Melody Sundowns. Others were Kuluso Muadu, Abre Modiba, Tapelo Morena, and Tebo Mokena. From this feature, we revive memories of Sundowns' last competitive appearance in Abeokuta in Ogun State. In August 2001, they were beaten 2-0 by Julius Berger FC of Lagos during a CAF Champions League group stage encounter played at MKO Abiola Stadium. Much has changed since then. The Pretoria-based side have evolved into one of Africa's football powerhouses, winning the CAF Champions League in 2016, finishing as runners-up in the most recent edition, and representing Africa in the Super Club World Cup in the United States earlier this year. That's a very, very big pedigree for them. They currently top the South African Betway Premiership with 6 wins, 3 draws, and 1. The only team to have played that many games. In contrast, Remo Stars are still finding their rhythm in the Nigeria Premier Football League, sitting 13th on the table, a far cry from the dominance of their visitors. Yet football thrives on surprises, and the Sky Blue Stars from Ikene will hope to play the role of David in this modern-day clash with Goliath. If Remo Stars can capitalize on home advantage in Abeokuta and secure a respectable lead, they might just have a fighting chance in the return leg at Loftus Versfield Stadium in Pretoria on October 26th. That's just, a wishful thinking that, this David can topple Goliath. Neto.
Exciting times in African football indeed. The rivalry between Nigeria and South Africa continues, whether it's boxing, whether it's football in terms of national teams or just club level teams, and it's good for the game of football. So Ubani, thank you so much for your contribution to Africa at Play.
Thank you so much, the Velvet Voice of Africa.
16:57 Central African Time. There is always that feeling of general happiness, that euphoria that comes with knowing that tomorrow is still a day. Worry not, we will be back again tomorrow from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. My name is Neto, Neto Chemane. Hosiati konyangazi mumkhaja phandle konjani moyane voko tendele. Thank you to our technical operator Tumelo TM Mokwena, as well as our social media guru, that is Tumi Selema, and our audiovisual specialist, that is Bonolo Chwane, and not forgetting my producer Andisiwe Fagimalu Zobona Mali, and from the rest of the Africa at Play team, thank you for listening. Odia Sima Datera, Ewong Dia, a day above the ground is a very good day. Africa at Play, Asteleli Sashai. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.